42A. Hartford Road work on 84 East between exits 46 and 51. That's left lane repair work. Westbound side of 84 over in Southington. Crews are working in the left lane between exits 30 and 26. Sam Samperi has the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
Throughout the afternoon hours now, we'll continue to enjoy mostly sunny skies. Some high clouds will start to move in from the west. Temperatures between 65 and 70. Beautiful afternoon, a light wind, but the wind will turn around to the south-southeast now and pick up a little bit at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sundown at 7:46, becoming partly to mostly cloudy tonight with lows in the 40s. Tomorrow, mixed sun and clouds, high temperatures reaching the mid-60s. Thickening clouds tomorrow evening, and there will be some rain rolling in around and after midnight. We'll have a period of rain overnight through Thursday morning. The rain should come to an end mid to late morning with temperatures only in the 50s. Looks like we could pick up a good quarter, maybe even a half inch of much-needed rainfall across the state by Thursday afternoon. Otherwise, your Friday's going to feature a mix of sun and clouds, cool with highs only in the 50s.
It's meteorologist Sam Samperi in the WTIC Weather Center. Dow's down a fraction. The NASDAQ is down 264 points, and the S&P is down 41. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Northeast Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combination therapies that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and to the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com. Northeast Men's Health, advanced medical science to empower male performance.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by University of Maryland Global Campus.
Do you feel the need to compete with your neighbor? You're not alone.
You know, they get a new pool, you want a new pool. They get a new car, you get a new car.
Financial planner Sherry Greco-Rikis says be yourself and be true to your values. It's not just good for your emotional well-being. Your wallet will thank you as well. The competition for stuff, she says, is a road to ruin.
You're going to end up increasing debt, especially credit card debt that you may never get out of.
I'm Rob Hart.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
Brian Shackman here for CertaPro Painters. I don't know about you, but a fresh coat of paint makes me feel good. That's why you might want to get in touch with the folks at CertaPro Painters. And now is a good time. Ask about their spring sales event. That's 10% off qualifying projects through May the 15th. And they can do inside, they can do outside. They did our kitchen. Man, they were timely, they were clean, and they were so respectful to everybody in our family. CertaPro Painters, by the way, independently owned and operated right here in our community. So schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. Again, that's Certa with a C.
Sale ends soon. Don't wait.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Penalties and interest are piling up every single day. Wage garnishments and bank levies could hit any moment. If you've been avoiding it out of fear, you're not alone. But waiting only shrinks your options and ramps up the stress. The truth is, the IRS settles with taxpayers every day through legitimate programs, and many qualify to reduce what they owe, in some cases by up to 99%. That's why thousands turn to helpwithirsdebt.com. They've guided over 120,000 Americans, resolved more than $2.3 billion in tax debt, and back every case with their ironclad resolution guarantee. If there's no real path forward, you get a full refund, no fine print. They even randomly select one qualifying client each year and pay off their entire IRS balance. Terms apply. Don't let another day pass. Go to helpwithirsdebt.com right now. It's fast, easy, and confidential. Find out what's possible today. Helpwithirsdebt.com. Once again, that's helpwithirsdebt.com.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up loud. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah! What's crack-a-lackin'? That's what they say. That's the hood for you. Scallywags, nutmeggers, and all my conversationalists across the fruited plain, because they're online. And don't forget, you haters, it's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. That's weird. My headphones seem weird, almost muffled. Could I be losing my hearing? Is that what's happening? I don't sound as crisp. It happens when you get old. That's the one thing, baby. That's the one thing that scares me. That if ever I lose my hearing, I got to be really, really careful. Comey has been indicted again. We'll get into the details of that. I've been preparing all the way up to the wire today. Phone call after phone call after phone call. Adam 12, this is the reason why I don't do so many guests. This is why. Because everybody will call me. Everyone will call me. Can we talk a minute? Can we have a conversation? I was like, yeah. Sure. No. If this is going to sound crazy, but I want to say this to those of you who wish to be on the show or who are going to be on the show. Reese on the radio has done his research. He has done his homework. When you come in here, you are going to be talking to someone who cares about what you do. You don't have to be afraid of anything. If your client or your representative is a nervous Nelly and they've never done this before, trust me, you are in good hands. Reese on the radio is there. Roland's got a whole commercial about it. Reese on the radio is there. I will be there for them. I will guide them through. There are a lot of people who have never done this before, never been interviewed before. I got you. I know that you are nervous. I know that you are scared even. I've got you. My audience will never know. They will think you're a natural at this, that you've been doing it hundreds of times. Not because I am a skilled radio personality and interviewer. No. No. Because I know what it's like. I understand this. I know that you might say the wrong thing. You might not be prepared. I may throw a question at you that will rattle you a little bit. How do I answer that? Is he trying to get me? No. I've got you. I've got you covered. So trust me, you can. You are in good hands here. Okay? Especially friendly interviews. And when I mean friendly interviews, I'm talking about interviews of people who are promoting something or people who are talking about a benefit that they're giving or something that's happening in and around Connecticut that many people might not know about. You know, a store or a company, whatever it is. I got you. I'm already curious. I'm curious about you. And I'm going to ask you questions that you can answer, that you're comfortable with. Okay? Now, if you're a politician and you represent the people, well, I'm coming for you. That's it. You better be nervous. You better be scared out your wits. I like it that way. Keep them on their toes. Make sure that there's maybe a lawyer or attorney or, maybe a campaign staffer right there into your ear. So when I ask you a question, we're like, yeah, don't answer that. No, that could get you in serious trouble. No. Next question. I've got you. Thank you, Jules. Jewel4275 said, "Hello, Reese. I love your show. I love you too. Thank you so much." Abby, our guest, who's going to be here later, she'll be on the program. She's got a documentary out as well that you should check out about her and her dad. A great documentary I watched. It was very, very in-depth. You have to be prepared for this story. But we'll talk to her about that and everything she's doing with the Gary Sinise Foundation and her own, what she does here in Connecticut. Roseanne already met her, says, Roseanne, you ever see that when you meet someone and your wife meets someone and she can't help but tell you she's very pretty? I don't understand women. I really don't. And I make that clear, married 4 times. When women say that, like, I'm a guy. Never once have I ever said to my wife when I met someone, I was like, yeah, I was with Chad the other day. He's incredibly good looking. Never done it. Just never done it. Like, unless, if he looks like he was made out of marble, I might. I was like, yeah, that guy, he looks unreal. Like that kind of, like he's got to look like something right out of like central casting on a soap opera. It's like looking at that guy, you just going, ugh. Like you almost feel like you have to put your hand up to block out the light. It's like, damn, I can't even look this guy straight in the face. Like that, it's like, I gotta check myself. But I've never, guys have never been that way. You look at a guy and you're like, whatever. Like a guy's a guy. Usually the guy's not up front, walking up to you like kind of showing the pecs, if you will. But ladies, y'all immediately, yeah, she's so attractive. You should, when you see her, you'll notice she's absolutely like zero body fat. It's like, okay. Do you want me to look at her? I almost feel like it's a trap. Not going to sit across from her. If Abby's listening, I swear I'm only kidding. So we got her coming up at 4 o'clock. We got some other guests coming up this week. Are we having Linda McMahon call in Adam 12? If we are, let me know. Or if they want to call in a statement. There was a Senate hearing today. Linda McMahon with the Senate talking about I guess that where we are with the closing down of the Board of Education. And that hearing was quite contentious with Chris Murphy, who weirdly in that exchange with Secretary McMahon said, and I quote, "In your home state of Connecticut." Chris Murphy said that. In your home state of Connecticut. And I took issue with that immediately. My response to that was, you mean our, right? That's what I would have said. I would have said, you mean our home state, right, Chris? I thought that was weird. Anyway, what did he say? Oh, they haven't answered yet. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, we'll talk about a bunch of that. I want to focus a little bit of time on Monday's show, at the beginning of the show, as it related to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And many of that conversation is about to move on, especially now with the indictment of James Comey. Again, the indictment of Dr. David Morenz today. We'll deep dive on that one. That's a lot to get into because I don't know about you, but I see how it correlates with the passing or the signing yesterday of House Bill 5044, the vaccine mandate and religious exemption argument. I think they're all connected. I want to talk about that today. But this issue that the left is having with the right, making it a both sides issue. And there are plenty of Republicans who are pointing out case in point about why it isn't a both sides issue. And they're going over the names, which I totally understand. School shootings, political assassinations, or attempts for that matter. I get the case. I get the argument that you're making. But I got to help out where I can. So I know a lot of politicians listen to this program, and I know they don't always take my advice until after I've proven them right. I'm proving myself right, for that matter. That's okay. You don't have to be on board in the beginning. I'm a nobody. Why would you ever listen to me? But I want to give this advice to you, the average John Q. and Jane Q. public who listen to me, and the left who listens to this show will have to learn this two, because you're going to be confronted with what I'm about to explain. This is not a two sides issue. Stop talking about two sides, no matter what they bring up. They can bring up every case of two sides. They will say over and over again that the right has extremists too, and both sides have this issue. And it's not just indicative of the left. Everybody's got their crazies. Ask one simple question. Okay, why do you want me to address it as a two sides issue? Why do you want me to admit that it is a two sides issue? And they will go, because if you admit that it's a two sides issue, then we know that we can address it then. You can just acknowledge that it happens on both sides, so you're not just blaming one side. Okay, so I want to hear you right. So you need me to acknowledge that it's a both sides issue. That's important to you. Right? So you think that the argument will end if I just acknowledge, right? We won't be at war with each other on this issue if I just admit that it's a both sides issue. That's what you need from me. Yeah? And they will tell you yes, right? So you're making sure. Hey, I want to make sure to you. So there's no overarching thing you want me to do, right? There's nothing hidden behind that claim that it's a both side issues. You just want me to admit it because that's important to you. Because words are deeds if I get you right. Isn't it? And they will tell you yes. Yes, it is important because we can't address it until we acknowledge that it's on both sides. Okay, good. I'd like to introduce you to the 10 compromises and introduce them to them. If it's important that I acknowledge these things so we can figure it out, and it shouldn't be too hard for me to acknowledge that it's a both sides issue. What's all the argument about on the 10 compromises? Hell, let's go through 9. Can you compromise with me that there is only 2 sexes? Can't you just acknowledge that? Why is that so hard? Ask them those simple questions. Can we acknowledge that abortion up to the day of birth is not health care? Can you just acknowledge that? If it's so easy that we can just acknowledge things and they just be what they are, can we acknowledge that a boy is a boy and a girl is a girl? Can't you just do that? Stop arguing with them about it. Because if they can do, if it's so important for me to acknowledge that it's a both side issue, if that's so easy for me, why isn't this easy for you? Why is that a hill you must die on? And it is, folks, isn't it? I posted yesterday the 10 compromises. And you guys know, those of you on Facebook, there are people, one person in particular, who is losing their minds over it, saying that they can't do any of those compromises because it means something more. Like on the abortion issue, one particular a person on social media said that it was tantamount to stopping somebody from having an abortion by just compromising that it's murder. Nobody's asking you to stop abortions. No one is asking you to run into a clinic and pull the baby out yourself. Just acknowledge that late-term abortions is murder, that you're killing a baby, that it is not health care. Just acknowledge. They can't do it. They won't do it. Just acknowledge that a man cannot become a woman. They can't. They can't. They literally fight themselves. Can't do it. I just can't. It means so much more if I do it. Good. Maybe you'll get where we're coming from then. I can't look at the video of Charlie Kirk's murder. I can't look at Dallas, where a gunman sat on a rooftop and shot at ICE agents, watching that dumbass actually shoot the people he claimed to be protecting, illegals. He shot illegals. I can't watch crooks take shots in an open-air event and kill a man in front of his daughters and his wife. Can't do it. I can't stand by watching leftists on social media mock the murder of Charlie Kirk. I can't sit idly by and watch people in polling data over polling data as the left says that they believe political violence is a means to an end overwhelmingly than any other group, and then tell me that it's okay to say it's a both sides issue. I'm not doing it, and I don't give a damn how many times you ask me. It isn't. So perhaps, instead of asking me to accept it's a both sides issue, do the thing that you should do. Just denounce the violence without terms. Because that's how you feel, right? If you're jumping to the it's a both sides issue instead of this is wrong, you don't think it's wrong. Because that should be your knee-jerk reaction to this. This is wrong. There should be no buts. Political violence, this is wrong. When you start talking about acknowledge it's a two sides issue, acknowledge it's a both sides issue, when you want to have that debate, you don't care that it's happening. You are doing it for every reason you've ever done anything. Moral capital, political capital, whatever the case may be. To one-up people, you do not care about the issue. Because you should just care about political violence and stopping it. And that's what we're trying to get across. You guys are having the wrong argument and you're debating poorly. Work on it. We'll be back. More news, more views when we return. This Reese on the Radio.
Ned Lamont and the Hartford Clowns have a problem telling the truth. Here's Ned.
And we're trying to make life a little less expensive for working families in the middle class.
Talk is cheap, Ned, but you know what's not? Our electric bills. Aaron Stewart is the no BS candidate for governor. Aaron knows that 1, Connecticut exports a third of the energy we generate while we pay the highest prices in New England. That's BS. 2, the Hartford Clowns put a hidden tax on your bill, the public benefits charge. Complete BS. And 3, Ned wants electric leaf blowers instead of gas, so he's importing hydropower from Canada. Really? Canada? Total BS.
And we're trying to make life a little less expensive.
I'm Aaron Stewart. I'm running for governor because it's time for something different, like cutting the BS. Only Hartford would ship out the energy we make and ship in expensive Canadian energy. Join me at Aaron4CT.com. I approve this message.
Paid for by Aaron for Connecticut, Valerie Marino, Treasurer.
Follow WTIC News Talk 1080. Don't miss out on important updates in Connecticut, from breaking need-to-know news, weather alerts, and more. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app now.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
And now, a WTIC News Update.
It's 2:30, Hartford temperature, 69 degrees. I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. Former FBI Director James Comey has been indicted again, this time over a social media photo of seashells arranged on a beach that officials say constituted a threat against President Trump. The charge or charges against Comey are unknown at this time. The second criminal case the Justice Department has brought against Comey. He says he assumed the arrangement of shells reading 8647 was a political message, not a call to violence against Trump. Brantford police charged a convicted felon with numerous weapons offenses after he allegedly was found in possession of a cache of weapons, including 28 long guns and 8 handguns. Under arrest is 46-year-old Alexander Aranzo. Brantford police received a tip from the TSA concerning a suspicious package for Aranzo at JFK Airport that was intercepted earlier this month. Unit of the Connecticut National Guard is shipping out to assist in the war against Iran. There was a send-off ceremony at Bradley Air National Guard Base in East Granby this morning. About 150 soldiers, MPs with the 192nd Military Police Battalion, will deploy to an undisclosed location in support of Operation Epic Fury. Big day in the capital with the Royals in town.
Joint meeting of Congress is the first by a British monarch in more than 30 years. The King's late mother, Queen Elizabeth II, delivered an address at the Capitol in 1991. Speaker Mike Johnson told reporters the state visit is, quote, perfectly timed to highlight the special relationship between the United States and the United Kingdom.
CBS's Nicole Killian, former NBA player and assistant coach Damon Jones, has become the first player to plead guilty in a gambling sweep that led to the arrests of more than 30 people, including reputed mobsters and other basketball figures. During back-to-back hearings in Brooklyn federal court, Jones pled guilty to 2 counts of conspiracy. He was charged in separate cases with profiting from rigged poker games and providing sports bettors with non-public information about injuries to such stars as LeBron James and Anthony Davis. WTIC News time is 2:32. Here's Sam with the forecast.
Throughout the afternoon hours now, we'll continue to enjoy mostly sunny skies. Some high clouds will start to move in from the west. Temperatures between 65 and 70. Beautiful afternoon, a light wind, but the wind will turn around to the south-southeast now and pick up a little bit at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sundown at 7:46, becoming partly to mostly cloudy tonight with lows in the 40s. Tomorrow, mixed sun and clouds. High temperatures reaching the mid-60s. Thickening clouds tomorrow evening, and there will be some rain rolling in around and after midnight. We'll have a period of rain overnight through Thursday morning. The rain should come to an end mid to late morning with temperatures only in the 50s. Looks like we could pick up a good quarter, maybe even a half inch of much-needed rainfall across the state by Thursday afternoon. Otherwise, your Friday's going to feature a mix of sun and clouds, cool with highs only in the 50s.
All right, 69 right now in Hartford. Market's down so far this Tuesday. Dow's down 63. The Nasdaq's down 238, and the S&P is off 40 points. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-296-1251. 800-296-1251. That's 800-296-1251. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
In today's fast-moving job market, staying ahead means keeping your skills sharp. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we help keep your capabilities cutting edge. with our skills-based education programs designed to move your career forward. Explore more than 135 degrees and certificates in business, cybersecurity, and more. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 13th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Brian Shackman here for QC Kinetics. You know, at some point you stop calling it pain and you just say, this is how I am now. Well, that's not okay. And I'm dealing with it myself too with my shoulder and my ankle. I'd love to lead you back to the normal you, the one who was active and carefree. So let's get started now with an introduction to the medical team at QC Kinetics and their long-lasting regenerative treatments for joint pain. Now, for me, I've already started the process of talking to them. I filled out the initial forms to find out if I'm right for it, and I am, and I'm ready to go to the next step because I'm tired of living with the pain. The science is real. The treatments are natural. Your body already knows how to heal. QC Kinetics finally gives it the right tools to do so. No operating room, no hardware, no watching summer come and go from a recliner. Just getting back to the you that you want to be. And now's the time because the longer inflammation sits, the more damage it does. It's not a I'll get around to it type thing. Right now is the right time. And the first step is the toughest, and just do it now. QC Kinetics. Better starts here. Schedule your free consultation today. Avon, New Haven, or Glastonbury. 860-440-PAIN. Again, 860-440-PAIN.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
I want to thank the person who sent me the note that the hydrilla bill passed yesterday, as well as the other bills that passed and the governor has signed. The hydrilla thing, we're on that. We're way, way ahead of you on that one. Because there was an exchange with the head of the administrator of the EPA, Lee Zeldin, and Rosa DeLauro that went viral. All of you are sharing it on X and everywhere else. We'll get into that in a little bit. But if you were paying attention to that exchange, folks, did you hear what Lee Zeldin said to Rosa DeLauro about her drink? Did you pay attention to that? I sure did. It was the thing that I paid the most attention to. And it goes to show there are way too many people out there, Rosa DeLauro included, who do not know what they're talking about when it comes to climate change and climate events and climate legislation. They know nothing. The only thing they know is the word climate change. That's it. She went so far as to tell him, you're not allowed to say climate change doesn't... In what world, comrade? In what world is that possible? We'll play the audio later on as the show progresses. And again, we have Abby Wadsworth-Boretto, who is on the program. We'll talk to her about her documentary about her father, finding out about her dad. It is a very beautiful story, and we'll talk to her about that and everything else that she's doing for veterans, how she's involved in the Gary Sinise Foundation, and a whole lot more. So she's going to sit here with us and talk about that. I want to get back real quick to this this ridiculous two sides debate that was being had yesterday, and it will go on for a long time until there's something else that they will scream and holler about. It's like, it's on the right, it's on the right. I'm not trying to be dismissive, okay? But when I look at the politicians who have been attacked, people who are in the political sphere who have been attacked, I think that people on the right are making an argument about that, where people on the left are making the argument about the top shooting in Buffalo or the Walmart shooting in Texas. People are making those arguments. But I would fairly make the argument of what happened during the Kyle Rittenhouse episode. What was happening then? What was taking place during the George Floyd riots? When the former police officer, and forgive me, I forget his name and I apologize, the former police officer, older black man, was murdered on live stream in California. His name escapes me, but I know his last name begins with a D. That was left-wing violence, right? We had Seattle, Minneapolis, Chicago, New York. These BLM riots killed, this was left-wing violence. Large numbers of left-wing violence. Now, again, I'm not trying to include those things. You've never heard me say or attribute BLM riots or George Floyd riots where people have died. You never heard me mention that when I start talking about left-wing violence versus right-wing violence, if that's going to be the debate. When I have this conversation with you, I am talking about prominent figures in politics who have been attacked by lone individuals. Someone tried to express to me that Josh Shapiro's firebombing of the governor's mansion in Pennsylvania, that was right-wing violence. What the media tried to do was to suggest that individual was a crazed person, mental illness. So we can't count that. Really? That wasn't the case with Gabby Giffords. That got traced all the way back to Sarah Palin. She held no political office to speak of. Huh? Thank you, 2008. But Gabby Giffords wasn't shot by anyone political. That person who shot Gabby Giffords and the little girl, he didn't have a political bone in his body. That young man was mentally ill. The guy who burned Josh Shapiro's home trying to kill his wife and his children clearly had political ideology on the left. I don't remember any Republicans screaming Free Palestine, but he was. So I don't know what you're talking about. That is a political figure, left wing. The Hodgkinson shooter in Arlington, Virginia. He popped a cap in Steve Scalise, a Republican congressman, during a baseball practice. He was a Bernie Sanders volunteer and an avid watcher of Rachel Maddow, and was repeating over and over again things like Republicans are killing people over health care. It was all over his social media. James Hodgkinson sounded exactly like Cole Allen. They are carbon copies of one another. Just James Hodgkinson is all white. Yeah, I went there. But they clearly had the same motives, right? They were following doctrine of their leftist overlords. It's in their manifestos. It's on their social media page. In fact, let's go one step further. If you follow Cole Allen's social media post on Blue Sky, that should have been your first clue, but he's on Blue Sky. What is he doing? If you've gone and you've watched them, he literally doesn't post anything. He reposts everything. Everything he believes is a repost from a prominent Democrat figure, be it a pundit or a politician. Literally, everything about him is an expression from the likes of Hakeem Jeffries. That's who they are. They're the same. James Hodgkins, same deal. Why was he in Arlington all the way from the Midwest? Why was he hanging out at the laundromat day after day after day, stalking Republicans? Why were his last words before he pulled the trigger and some Secret Service agent took him out? Yes, killed him. God bless that agent. God bless him. God bless him. God bless him. Why were his last words, hey, are those Republicans over there? Work for Bernie Sanders? Listen to Rachel Maddow? Okay. Who else do we got? Oh, yes, Charlie Kirk, of course. Of course, Charlie Kirk. Written on the bullet fragments, hey, fascist, catch. Because nobody in the news media on MS Now or then MSNBC or any other liberal place like CNN, ABC, NBC, nobody was using the word fascist to describe Charlie Kirk or any other Republican. No, not at all. No King's rallies. No, they never used those terms. Huh? They never used those terms. That young man who shot Charlie Kirk, can't call him crazy. I've yet to hear anyone call him crazy or deranged. No. In fact, he was a carbon copy of everything the left believes in. Hell, he's a poster boy for leftist ideology. He had a trans lover, and he was a lover of trans. And what he did was, I don't know, it was an act of love, wasn't it? It's an act of passion. Charlie Kirk must be stopped for talking. That was the threat. He had ideas. That's why he was murdered in front of all those students while he was trying to have an open dialogue with them. That's why he died. And their hero killed him. I didn't even bring up Luigi Mangione, old eyebrows Mangione. Huh? Isn't he another poster boy of the healthcare debate? I mean, he took out a healthcare CEO. Right? Early morning. And boy, did the girl swoon. He's so dreamy. And he's a murderer. Yeah. Nobody's paying attention to that. I'm not listening to your nonsense anymore. Don't have a debate with me about both sides. I want no parts of it. Isn't it happening on both sides, Reese? Nope. But it is. Nope. So what? I don't care. Huh? You know what the deal is. I won't even entertain it. Yeah. Listen, I don't care if you think the sky is green, buddy. It is blue. Whatever you believe is not going to change that. So you can scream till your hair turns blue, get on the floor and throw a tantrum for all I care. Scream for your mommy. I just got it, big true. All right, whatever, kid. We're not moving. This is a leftist issue. And again, I don't care if you deal with it. It is what it is. We'll be back. More news, more views. We'll return. It's Reese on the radio.
Is life insurance on your list of New Year's resolutions? Now is the perfect time to add it. A buddy told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I added this to my list this year and got it done. I called SelectQuote and was shocked at how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $18 a month. My wife's also 40, and her $500,000 policy was only $16 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, no medical exam was required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Checking this off my list felt great, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-280-5858 for your free quote today. That's 1-800-280-5858. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-280-5858.
Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Why does Progressive work hard for truckers? Because truckers unite the world. Truckers unite soccer moms and oranges. Truckers unite unbelievably scratchy carpets with 2-star hotels. Truckers unite capes with adults who watch too many wizard movies. But truckers can't do any of this if they're not on the road. That's why Progressive has over 360 heavy truck claims reps to help you get back on the road fast. Get a quote in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She could get a deal. Book telehealth if she feel.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. An elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we are back. Coming up in the next hour, we've got to talk about how House Bill 5044, being signed by Governor Lamont, has a broader reach all around the country. And there's an interesting thing that's happening right now in Washington, in particular, when it comes to prosecutions. And, you know, the argument was, or sort of like I want to say that behind-the-scenes rattling in Washington was that former Attorney General Pam Bondi wasn't moving fast enough on prosecutions of old issues in 2020, 2021, and anything that happened during the Biden administration. And if you've noticed, out of nowhere, there has been there's been so much going on. I believe you me. Todd Blanche, and I know that people are going to say, it was like, but Reese, what are you saying? And listen, Todd Blanche was Donald Trump's personal attorney. He was, of course, the attorney right by his side during the Alvin Bragg nonsensical 34 felony case as it pertains to $130,000 to Michael Cohen. Todd Blanche is now the acting attorney general. I think in the coming weeks, it's quite possible he will be the attorney general. I really do believe that's going to be the case. It may not, but I believe it will be. But if Todd Blanche is, let's say, pushing for the nomination, he's hit the ground running. With the indictment of the Southern Poverty Law Center, now the indictment of Dr. David Morenz, and now the second indictment of James Comey, former FBI director. What could possibly come next? I mean, this stuff is red meat. And it distracts the left. It distracts the news media. But then again, I repeat myself. It distracts them. And they won't know what to do with themselves. Now, I'm only going to play this little bit, but I'll get into the whole breakdown. This is, was it Kwasi Mfume? This was after Dr. David Morenz was brought to Congress to address emails they had discovered where he was talking about evading FOIA requests, especially as they pertained to the lab leak theory of COVID-19. He was all over his email saying, oh, hell no, we don't put anything on our government. Send that to my personal Gmail. That's what all it was about. That's what he was. And he did everything to twist and turn and to say it was a witch hunt, it was a joke, it was all laughs. But Kwasi Mfume, former president of the NAACP, he even said after the hearing this.
I think you're going to be haunted by your testimony today. And it's unfortunate. And it doesn't make a lot of sense to many of us, certainly not to me.
He said, you're going to be haunted by your testimony. He said that years ago. And boy, is he now. Because he has been straight up indicted. And why? Because he lied to the American people. And I don't know if Fauci's next. But I tell you, it's appropriate. Yesterday, the Connecticut Mirror did what's the Connecticut Examiner, maybe? Connecticut Examiner did an expose about our very own governor, Ned Lamont, doing business on his private emails, talking about, I don't have to share them with you. And I'm telling you, these people, they do their dirt behind the scenes. You want to give this guy a permission slip that says, yep, we are no accountability. Costas, none whatsoever. Chang, nothing whatsoever. Nothing sticks to this guy. We're talking about Teflon Ned now? Huh? Is that what it is? There is no accountability for this guy? And he gets to just waltz back in? I was talking to somebody the other day. Was it Sunday? Somebody says, no, I think you got a strong chance. Okay. We'll see, folks. We'll see. We'll get all of that in the next break. Stand by for that. I've got audio sound bites to boot as well, so stick around. We'll return soon. John Silva's got the top of the hour news. He'll give you some more details about the speech coming up with the king. Hey, look, the No Kings get a king to speak to them today. Oh, that's crazy. So much more. He's in the WTIC newsroom. We'll be back. It's Reese on the radio.
This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
It's 3 o'clock. We have sunny skies and 68 degrees in Hartford. Partly sunny today. Low 70s. We'll have the forecast details coming up. It is a day of pageantry and history at the White House and on Capitol Hill.
It was a red carpet arrival befitting a king and queen.
Honoring the British King might seem an ironic beginning to our celebration of 250 years of American independence, but in fact, no tribute could be more appropriate.
President Trump praising the enduring friendship between the two nations.
Americans have had no closer friends than the British.
I'm Linda Kenyon at the White House.
Lawmakers have gathered inside the House of Representatives, where the king will deliver a speech before a joint session of Congress, the first in over 30 years, when his mother, the late Queen Elizabeth, did likewise back in the early 90s. Former FBI Director James Comey has been indicted for a second time by the Department of Justice. Correspondent Lindsay Reiser.
Sources tell CBS News the charges are in connection to a social media post he put up last year that had 8647 written in seashells on the beat.
Comey was interviewed last May by the Secret Service after Trump administration officials say he was advocating for the assassination of the president, something Comey has denied. State House Speaker Matt Ritter says the final budget for fiscal 2027 will include more money than expected for education. Under a deal with the governor's office, the budget includes $170 million to raise the education cost-sharing grant and more than $100 million more from a Pequot grant for cities and towns. That means help for cities like Hartford facing a severe school budget crisis.
Hartford will get about $30 million in additional state aid from these two pots of money. That is a substantial increase from where we thought we could get.
House Republican leader Vin Candelora, though, says the state should be investing more in education to help all cities and towns.
If you do runs, you could see every community over the last 20 years has shifted a larger portion of their budget onto property taxes because Connecticut is failing to keep up with inflation.
Yeah, Ritter says the full budget should come up for a vote by Saturday or Monday, with the current session ending 1 week from tomorrow. Police in Stratford have made an arrest in a fatal shooting from earlier this month. 22-year-old Robert Kopaz is charged with murder. On April 4th, police were called to a home on Woodstock Avenue in town just before midnight on a report of a disturbance. The victim, Paul Balzerano, who's 43, was found with multiple gunshot wounds and later died. Kopaz was arrested on Monday. In addition to murder, he's also facing a number of weapons charges. Bond was set at $1.5 million. Waterbury police continue their investigation into a crash from from Monday, I should say. Just after 4, police were called to the scene at Long Hill Road and Wolcott Street for a reported two-vehicle crash involving a minivan and a sedan. The driver of the car, a 37-year-old man from Thomaston, and a 71-year-old man from Southbury, were hospitalized. The passenger is in critical condition, the driver serious but stable. Driver of the minivan is being treated for minor injuries. A former NBA player and assistant coach pleaded guilty to a gambling sweep. Here's correspondent Michael Wallace.
Damon Jones is the first person to plead guilty in the case, in which more than 30 basketball stars and alleged mobsters were charged. He pleaded guilty to 2 counts of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. One for helping to defraud sports betting companies by using his connections to get insider information on players' injuries, and the other for his role in rigged poker games. Others charged in the case, including former NBA stars Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups, have shown no interest in pleading guilty. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
WTIC News time is 3:04. Checking traffic this hour. We've got some leftover road work in Hartford on 84 East between exits 46 and 51. They'll be in the left lane there till about 3:30. In Southington on 84, between westbound that is, between exits 30 and 26. Left lane repair work ongoing there. 691 in Meriden, westbound repair work between exits 1C and 2A. That's off in the left lane. Let's check the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
We started to see some mid and high-level clouds move in during the afternoon. That will lead to more cloud cover overnight with a low temperature of 42. We have some clouds tomorrow, the high temperature 65, and then a period of rain tomorrow night, and there can be some ponding of water on the roads, no widespread flooding, the low temperature 49. After a bit of rain early, cooler with a high of 58. Thursday night, mostly cloudy, down to 42 degrees. It'll be breezy on Friday with a mix of sun and clouds, the high temperature 59. We'll have a shower on Saturday evening, otherwise partly cloudy during the day, the high 57, and a mix of sun and clouds up to 58 on Sunday. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Dow's down 45, NASDAQ is down 194, S&P down 33 on Wall Street. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Northeast Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combination therapies that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and to the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com. Northeast Men's Health, advanced medical science to empower male performance.
For decades, Morgan & Morgan has represented hundreds of thousands of people at their hour of need. Injuries on the job, car crashes, medical malpractice, and nursing home abuse, Social Security claims, dangerous drugs, and dangerous products. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason, and no firm is even close. Then we got to thinking, what if we could prevent these terrible events before they occurred? So we built the AI-powered People Protector. Simply visit peopleprotector.com and type in the product you have questions about before you buy it. Children's toys and accessories, cars, drugs, products, you name it, we got it. With our success, we decided to pay it forward for all of America. Our way of saying thank you for your trust all these years. Morgan & Morgan, protecting America. And if you've already been injured, just visit us at forthepeople.com.
Irby Fisher. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Krilldozer, I don't know if that qualifies, to be honest with you. Krilldozer says, more useless indictments that will amount to nothing. Yawn. And I said, your evidence, again, is, and he goes, my evidence, quote unquote, is no actual convictions for any of the villains. There haven't been any court cases yet in this administration. I mean, there have been literally no trials. I don't know what that means. But okay, if you don't believe that it's going to amount to anything, okay, I guess just avoid the question overall. And there's no evidence of anything. I want the indictments. The indictments are here. How they litigate the case, we'll see when that happens. And if it doesn't, hey, take a victory lap. That's how that works. Former senior NIAID official has been indicted, speaking of which, for concealing federal records during the COVID-19 pandemic. In a major development announced today by the U.S. Department of Justice, a former senior official at the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases has been indicted for allegedly concealing federal records during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. Dr. David Morenz, a longtime aide to Dr. Anthony Fauci, is accused alongside with co-conspirators of deliberately hiding information and falsifying records in an effort to suppress alternative theories about the origins of the virus. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche issued a strong statement saying that these allegations represent a profound abuse of trust at a time when the American people needed it most. During the height of the global pandemic, government officials have a solemn duty to provide honest, well-grounded facts and advice in service of the public interest, not to advance their own personal ideological agendas. The DOJ says that the actions were taken to keep certain communications and documents out of official channels and away from public view. This is the first major indictment tied directly to alleged efforts to shape the narrative around COVID-19 origins. What is he talking about? Well, back in the day, Laura Ingraham on the Ingraham Angle laid it out.
NIH Senior Advisor Dr. David Morens is now being accused of improperly conducting official government business from his private email account and soliciting help from the NIH's Freedom of Information Act office to dodge record requests. Now, Morens wrote in a February 2021 email, "I learned from our FOIA lady here how to make emails disappear after I'm FOIA'd, but before the search starts. Plus, I deleted most of those earlier emails after sending them to Gmail." And he emphasized again in a November 2021 email, "I ask you both that nothing gets sent to me except to my Gmail."
You wrote that you connected a reporter to Dr. Fauci via your secret back channel. What back channel did you have for Dr. Fauci?
Well, all these terms like secret back channel and the other one you mentioned were just jokes.
Well, let's take a look at some of the more hilarious emails. April 2021. "There's no worry about FOIAs. I can either send stuff to Tony on his private Gmail or hand it to him at work or at his house. He's too smart to let colleagues send him stuff that could cause trouble." But today at the hearing, well, the same individual suggested his colleagues weren't smart at all.
I said to him, as I said several times to him, "Why are you sending it on my government email? This is not government business. It's your personal thing about your state of mind, about your security arrangements." I'm sorry, I'm getting this echo here, and should I turn off my microphone?
Morens deleted all emails related to the origin of the COVID virus. Now, why is that? June 28, 2021, delete all of Peter's emails and others relating to origin when the blank started hitting the fan. Mine was deleted long ago, and I feel pretty sure that Tony's was too. The best way to avoid FOIA hassles is to delete all emails when you learn a subject is getting sensitive.
Yeah, there'll be no indictments, Krill. Yeah, you're probably right. This hardcore evidence in his own emails, like there's no way that the jury would be able to make a connection there, right? It's absolutely far-fetched.
June 16, 2020. "We're all smart enough to know to never have smoking guns. And if we did, we wouldn't put them in emails. And if we found them, we'd delete them." Morens told one congressman today this was all a big mix-up.
I've obviously made mistakes. I've mixed up emails and Gmails, and that's caused me to do all of the things you mentioned, bring discredit on myself and on the government. I don't know what to say. I've apologized. I regret that. I wish I could take it back, but I can't.
Yeah, by the way, what we call that in the hood is called self-indict, what he did. "I made mistakes" is an admission of guilt. And again, every other claim that he makes in there is his own words, in his own emails. No one else can be attributed to them. He wasn't hacked. He never made such a claim. He just tried to blow it off, and now he's being indicted for it. Sure, it'll amount to nothing, right? Absolutely. People were personally affected by COVID, and a jury of his peers may very well, in a proverbial sense, may hang him for it. I think that's exactly what will happen, without a doubt. I think it's a hardcore case. As far as the Comey thing goes, we'll talk about that later. But this is huge. Because putting this stuff about COVID-19, vaccines, origins, especially private emails, all of that's going to play a role. That story starts to build momentum everywhere. Just like this story about, Governor Lamont not using a government email and not providing the documents when asked for, saying that it's fine. It's quite fine for the governor to do the public's business on a private email where it can possibly be hacked. Remember the whole Hillary Clinton nonsense and a bunch of others. And again, there's no accountability. No saying, hey, send us a search or give us the word that you want us to search for, and we'll find the emails. And I agree with Roseanne, what she said yesterday. Just say, I would like any email that has the word "the." That would be it. I want all of them. And make that request. It is a word. And they can talk all that nonsense about who's like, well, that's not reasonable. Well, it depends. And I would hash that out. I really want to get into the 5044, House Bill 5044. But I got to say this, because it's irking the hell out of me. It just is. If I have to be the only place that addresses this corruption, this clear corruption that's happening in the state, so be it. I don't give a damn if the rest of the mainstream media here covers it. I don't care. I am not going to leave them. I'm no longer going to moan about it. This will never be another argument about who did what over at FSB, WTNH, News Channel 12, none of them at all. Here's the agenda. Here is my solemn promise. I am going to grow this show to the far reaches of this state. Anywhere I can, I will make sure people listen to this. And I will make them rely on this program to get to the bottom of every corrupt son of a gun that's out there. I will just have to. Because that story, the fact that it has no legs or hasn't had any legs, it irritates me. But you know what? I am not about being irritated anymore. I am just going to say, whoever is listening to my voice right now, spread the word. Spread the word. Just say to them, hate your local news, can't stand the coverage of the stories that matter to you, not getting the coverage, come here. I will do everything in my immediate power to make sure that everybody knows what's going on, and that you do exactly what you did just a couple of weeks ago. Contact these people and get on the phone and shout them down. And I want them, look, I want to use a better term than the one that I want to use, but I'll put it this way. Let them know that they need to be accountable. You guys are an army. You have no idea the power that you have. You don't have to. See, most of these people, these politicians from, Lamont to William Tong, these guys, they navigate in the space of, are they talking about it in the news? No. Okay, proceed as normal. That cannot be the status quo here. They know that the local news media is not going to cover it. They don't show a degree of interest in any of it. So I say screw them. This has got to be a me to you to them thing. And we've got to get on their phones. We've got to inundate them. Email them. Some of you ladies out there, I know who you are. You guys like sending a strongly worded note. That's what we need. Inundate them. Let them know we don't care that the media didn't cover it, that you are on it. Every time we expose these bozos, I want to make sure that we let them know that we know. Anyway, that being said. So we have the governor signing this bill, 5044. And it is law now. There'll be some Supreme Court cases about this. There'll be some parents who will protest it, and they will write it off as something, nothing more than, it's really not that. We're not suggesting that you take any new vaccines or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. This isn't a mandated, until it is, ladies and gentlemen, until it is. And as people like Simsbury Joe has pointed out, and I want to read this because he was the one who made that clear on this program about the woman who is in charge. I want to make sure I got her information here. I just had her here. That's that. Here it is. Forgive me for not having my papers in order here. The woman who is in charge of this is the Connecticut Department of Public Health Commissioner Manisha Juthani. And she's been connected to some COVID-era controversies, mostly policy disagreements rather than personal scandals. She was not the commissioner at the very start of the pandemic. The previous commissioner was replaced in May of 2020 amid early criticism of the state's handling of nursing homes, where a large share of the early COVID deaths occurred. Governor Lamont was never held to account for that. Dr. Juthani, an infectious disease doctor from Yale, was nominated in July of 2021 and started in September of 2021. She's the first Indian American to hold the position. Yay, bravo. But in late in 2020, before she was the commissioner, she publicly pushed for stricter COVID restrictions. She co-signed a letter to Governor Lamont urging him to close restaurants and gyms, and as cases rose again, I should say. She appeared at briefings and said many times that there were major transmission risks that drew criticism from business owners, restaurant groups, and people who felt the restrictions were too harsh or damaging to the economy. Of course it was. Right now, that's what Governor Lamont keeps accusing. Oh, the reason why we're struggling is because of, COVID-19, the fact that we had to do lockdowns. Yeah. People were trying to warn him of that. He ignored it. But here, the good doctor was one of the people pushing it. And obviously, Lamont agreed so much, he made her the commissioner. As commissioner in 2021, she continued to support strong public health measures, school guidance, and vaccine recommendations. Critics have accused the Department of overreach and say her office has too much power. A point came up again during a debate, of course, about the HB 5044 bill, which expands her authority over vaccine standards and care. And that's true. Bottom line is that she will be able to make the decisions. In essence, there will be no oversight. There will be no bipartisan commission. You will not be able to lobby your public officials to fight for you and your family, more so your own children. And the thing that should bother everyone, and Representative Ann Dufresne, I saw her yesterday. Yes, yesterday. I saw her at the Capitol building. And she said something that was quite funny. She said that Connecticut has become the up-your-butt state, not the Constitution state. And she was going into a hearing for the cell phone ban that's now going to be statewide. She said every time you turn around, just leave it to the communities. Let them make that decision. They wanted to make it statewide. Of course, that passed. But that's what she said. Was that Connecticut has turned itself into they are going to have an oversight over every facet of your life. And this is what I said in my Substack. Now, the argument is, well, it's an overwhelming blue state and people in blue districts or blue voters, they're not going to mind so much about the overreach. They want it. They really do. They truly want the government to step in and be in charge of their daily lives. They want the government to step in and say, hey, we need a little more of your tax dollars so we can continue to fund a bunch of nonsense that gets no results. That there are people in the state that just go, sure, here's my wallet. Here's my life savings. You want to raise my property taxes? Of course. Of course. I built all of this so that I can leave it to my family. And every little bit that you take that keeps me from leaving them an inheritance, why not? And I keep telling you that that's nonsense. It's bull. You can sit up here and say that it's an abuse of power, okay? And I can have that debate with you all day. And people come to me and say, this is an outright abuse of power, Reese. And I go, no, this is not an abuse of power. Nothing at all. This is who they are. This is what power does. And in this case, it doesn't even corrupt. It tells you that when you're in power, when you give someone that kind of unchecked power, they don't even need you. They don't even need you. You think about this case. 5044 is saying we don't need you to chime in on vaccines. We have somebody who's smarter than all of you who's going to make that decision for you. She's quite accomplished. She went to Yale. She deals with infectious disease. What do you do? Huh? What are you, a garbage man? Huh? What are you? What's your job? Well, you're an accountant? Well, you can't measure up to her. What do you know? But what about my children? Come on, with all due respect, whose kids are they, huh? Yours or ours? Huh? That's progressivism, baby. It takes a village. I know you had the children. I know that you feed them and you probably taught them your ABCs, but, your job is kind of temporary. All in all, you're just having them for us. You're a surrogate. Come on. Tell the truth. That's what you are. I watched these knuckleheads walk around at protests, all the women dressed up as the handmaids. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Isn't it interesting? And what was the handmaids thing about? What was that all about? That was about the government's overreach trying to put limits on abortion. Right? I mean, the handmaids were supposed to give birth as surrogates for, the oligarch. Right? And that was an intrusion. But here, no handmaids now. No handmaids. I don't see them. Here's the government. Here's the state government. And the governor saying, one person's going to determine what we're going to stick into your kids. If we're going to mandate it. If we want. No, it's not a mandate now. But should some other disease come around, you're not going to be able to debate it. Oh, and that religious exemption thing? That's done with. No, Christian? No, Jew? That means nothing to us. We got to keep everybody safe. No handmaids now. Whatever happened to all of that, huh? No kings, they say. Whatever happened to democracy? I mean, at least there you had mob rule, right? What's it now? Where's all the mob rule now? Where's all the democracy? Well, I guess that takes furloughs too. We'll be back. It's Reese on the radio.
Put those shovels away because spring is finally upon us. Hi, Dave Berger from Modern Plumbing Supply. Everyone knows that spring is the time for rebirth, renewal, and new beginnings. So what better way to welcome in spring than to give your old bathroom and kitchen a fresh start, a new beginning? Visit Modern Plumbing Showroom today on the Berlin Turnpike in Berlin. See the latest trends, colors, and styles, and spring into a rebirth for your kitchen and bath.
Great design with you in mind. Modern Plumbing Supply.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Lockridge, and I'm the host of a new podcast from Odyssey called Family Lore. In this podcast, I'm going to have people on to tell unusual and sometimes far-fetched stories about their families.
I've heard my whole life that she invented the margarita.
And then we're going to investigate those stories and find out how much of it is true.
He gets a patent 1 month before the Wright brothers. Oh my God.
Please follow and listen to Family Lore, an Odyssey podcast, available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows.
Brian Jackman here for Serta Pro Painters. It's time. We're about to go to springtime, and the spring sales event could get you 10% off qualifying projects through May the 15th. And Serta Pro, those folks are awesome. They're independently owned and operated right here in our community. They did my kitchen. They were there on time. The estimate was excellent, and they did, by the way, a great job. Serta Pro Painters. Schedule your free estimate online at certapro.com. That's Serta with a C.
Sale ends soon. Don't wait.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code GOAL to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money, so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code GOAL to borrow up to $10,000. Use code GOAL to borrow up to $10,000.
And now, a WTIC news update.
3:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Low 70s will top out for highs today. We'll have the full forecast coming up. King Charles is addressing a joint meeting of Congress at this hour.
Whatever disagreements we may have, we stand united in our commitment to uphold democracy, to protect all our people from harm, and to salute the courage of those who daily risk their lives in the service of our countries.
Charles said the relationship between America and Britain runs deep.
Today, I am here on this great occasion in the life of our nations to express the highest regard and friendship of the British people to the people of the United States.
Charles and Queen Camilla in the midst of a 4-day state visit. Cities and towns are poised to receive $270 million in additional state funding in the budget adjustment for FY 2027. That breaks down to an additional $170 million for schools and $100 million for municipal aid. Larger cities facing deficits like Hartford and New Britain will benefit, though some would like to see more earmarked for the smaller towns as well. Brantford police say a convicted felon is facing over 3 dozen firearms charges. Police say they were notified by the TSA that had intercepted a package that had been shipped from China to JFK Airport. Now under arrest is 46-year-old Alexander Oronzo. 3 people were seriously injured in a crash in Waterbury on Monday. Officers were called to the scene at Long Hill Road and Wolcott Street for a reported 2-vehicle crash involving a minivan and a sedan. 2 people in 1 vehicle were seriously injured. Another person sustained minor injuries. And Stratford police are charging a man with murder. They say Robert Cobhas shot and killed Paul Bolsonaro to death on Woodstock Avenue back on April 4th. Suspect now facing murder and weapons charges and being held on $1.5 million bond. WTIC News Time 3:32. Here's the forecast.
We will see our temperatures slowly decline this week, an increase in the cloud cover overnight with a low temperature of 42, a mix of sun and clouds tomorrow up to 65, some rain tomorrow night into the first part of Thursday, down to 49 tomorrow night, the high temperature only 58 on Thursday. It'll be cloudy in the afternoon and cloudy Thursday night with a low of 42. A mix of sun and clouds. We add a little bit of a northwest breeze on Friday, the high 59. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Checking traffic in Tolland, westbound 84 between exits 69 and 68. Looks like the right lane is blocked due to a 1-vehicle crash. Down in Stratford, there's a 3-vehicle crash reported on Route 15, southbound side, between exits 37 and 36 that takes out the left lane. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
Snap is enlisting Qualcomm to revive Snap's Specs smart glasses. Snap's last generation of Specs debuted in 2019, but the Snapchat parent announced a partnership with Qualcomm to power the augmented reality glasses with the chipmaker's Snapdragon processors. Specs are described as see-through glasses that enable users to see, hear, and interact with digital content just like it's in the physical space. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers, only at Starbucks.
Life unfolds in ways you can never quite expect. A divorce, a death in the family, a personal injury. Each time you are left searching for someone new to trust. But what if you had a full-service law firm that knows you and a firm that can represent all your legal needs? With BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a full-service law firm. Visit bpslawyers.com. BPS Lawyers, your lawyers for life. Proud full-service law partner of UConn Athletics. Nick Payne-Dearest is responsible for the content of this ad.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
You know the rush when you reach that goal, when something you've worked for pays off. That's success. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we believe you should never stop chasing it. That's why we offer a skills-based education that helps move your career forward. Learn how to apply emerging technologies like AI and data science. Build your leadership and critical thinking skills. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 13th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Ned Lamont and the Hartford Clowns have a problem telling the truth. Here's Ned.
And we're trying to make life a little less expensive for working families in the middle class.
Talk is cheap, Ned, but you know what's not? Our electric bills. Aaron Stewart is the no BS candidate for governor. Aaron knows that 1, Connecticut exports a third of the energy we generate, while we pay the highest prices in New England. That's BS. 2, the Hartford Clowns put a hidden tax on your bill, the public benefits charge. Complete BS. And 3, Ned wants electric leaf blowers instead of gas, so he's importing hydropower from Canada. Really? Canada? Total BS.
And we're trying to make life a little less expensive.
I'm Aaron Stewart. I'm running for governor because it's time for something different, like cutting the BS. Only Hartford would ship out the energy we make and ship in expensive Canadian energy. Join me at Aaron4CT.com. I approve this message.
Paid for by Aaron for Connecticut, Valerie Marino Treasurer.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Growing a brand is hard, but reaching the right customers shouldn't be. Meet Outcomes from Viant. We've built an intelligent platform that handles the complexity of digital advertising for you. Powered by advanced AI, we help your brand show up in the right places at the right time and ensure that every dollar you spend leads to a real business result. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Hey, he's your friendly neighborhood Reese on the radio. Right now on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, y'all, we're back. Coming up is your traffic and weather with Mark Christopher. He's back yet? Or was that Sue Aller? Oh, that's right. I remember Sue. Sue said Avon instead of Avon one day. They would have killed me for that. Well, welcome, Sue. Sue's filling in for Mark Christopher at the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. We'll hear from her in mere moments right here on a big program. Also, we've got a guest today, and that is Abby Boretto, who's Abby Boretto is a documentarian and a community leader. She'll be on the program to talk about her documentary, talk about her work with the Gary Sinise Foundation, her work with veterans. Her dad was a Marine. Her documentary is about her father, who died in a plane crash, and how she, her long journey to sort of reconnect with the memory of her father. And it's a great story. She'll be here with us for a little bit. I also want to tell you that for those of you who, you check in and out, I know some of you listen straight through the show, and you know who you are, my homies and my roadies. You are not going to want to miss the 5 o'clock hour. Because after we do music news, I'm going to do the stupidest thing I read today. And it's in the long form today. And our good friend Mark Fitch of Inside Investigator, Connecticut Inside Investigator, wrote this article that will blow your mind if you haven't read it already. It is the worst story I've ever read about an individual. To give you a reference of this, imagine, Roland, have you seen the movie Something About Mary? Do you remember that movie? Something About Mary. Yeah, you have? Go on the microphone real quick. Just get. You got to do something? It's all right. Are you stuck doing something?
No.
Okay. In the movie Something About Mary, do you remember it well, or do you would you have to see it again to remember some of the key, some of the key characters in the movie?
Yeah, I would have to see it again. I just remember a couple of inappropriate scenes.
Okay. Yes, of course. But there was a particular character played by Matt Dillon. Do you remember him? Matt Dillon was originally Ben Stiller's private investigator. And he was supposed to find out about the girl who had gotten away, Mary.
Yeah.
And Matt Dillon ends up falling for her. And so he begins to lie about who he is. And the thing that he says that he does is very key to this story. Do you remember his character at all? Does that ring a bell?
No.
No? Okay. You have to look it up because you see it. It is, I was thinking you're getting sound bites from the movie because there's no way this guy is real. But it turns out in Bridgeport, this guy exists.
And he's the same guy?
Oh, no. He's a real interpretation of this fake character from Something About Mary, the Matt Dillon character. This guy is a reprobate. I mean, he is the worst kind of person based on this story. And I'm telling you, I printed out, just to give you an example of how bad this story is. Look, I'm going to show you, for those of you who can see online at ReeseOnTheRadio.com. This is just an expose about this one guy who works at a school. It's 12 pages long. How horrible this story is and what this piece of garbage did. Or at least the allegations. It is awful what this guy did. And it's so...
So it sounds like it's worse than the
oh
dude
my
from
God.
Something About Mary.
Yes, because at least the Matt Dillon character wasn't... He was inappropriate in how he spoke. This guy is so awful. I can't believe he exists. I can't. I was looking at this just going, no way. This guy is all types of scumbag. And I'm like, if anybody knows Mark Fitch, I got his number too. Mark may have to call in during that segment at the 5 o'clock hour just to talk about it. Because I know he writing this 12-page story. Again, I printed it out, 12 pages. I know he had to be saying to himself, nobody could be this evil. And he is. He just is, according to the story. So I want you to stick around with it. I need you to go, Roland, go look up Matt Damon in Something About Mary. Just find the clips on YouTube. You don't have to play them because you can't play them on the internet.
Okay. I'll just look at them.
You just look at them and just come back to me after you check them out. Because I'm going to tell you, it's like, if there's a guy out there that's as bad as this Matt Dillon character, yeah, this guy's worse. He makes Matt Dillon look like a saint.
Wow.
That's how bad he is. So we'll get into that later on. Stupidest thing I read today. Again, the long version. We'll get to that in a minute. Governor Ned Lamont, and I have to talk about this because I'm still trying to figure out how this is possible. And all of these things that he does in an election year always line up to something else we reported here. And it's insanity. Hear this. Governor Ned Lamont is once again talking freebies. This time, free or discounted bus rides for veterans and K-12 students, plus a big slice of cash for schools. But how much is it really going to cost Connecticut taxpayers? Here's the breakdown. The transit piece is modest. That's only $3.5 million. And that's from the Special Transportation Fund. That money would make buses free for all veterans and give students up to a 50% discount. It's already in the Appropriations Committee midterm budget and could start later this year if lawmakers and the governor agree. The bigger number is education. Lamont wants to pull $100 to $150 million, possibly more, out of a, wait for it, $500 million affordability pool. The state is set aside under its fiscal guardrails. The fund was originally pitched for a $200 per person rebate to help families with high costs on their electric bills. Remember? Now a big chunk could go straight to schools in towns, with extra help for places like Hartford that have fallen behind. The $3.5 million transit money comes from the Special Transportation Fund paid for by Connecticut drivers through gas taxes, car registration, and related fees. So motorists are essentially subsidizing all those free rides. The $100 to $150 million for schools, that comes from a $500 million surplus pool. That money could have gone back to taxpayers as direct rebates, but instead is being redirected to education aid. You know who that is, right? Doesn't go to kids. No brand new taxes are being proposed in this. It's all coming from an existing state fund and surpluses. Surpluses to the tune of $500 million? Now, where would Ned Lamont get $500 million from? I wonder. It's just so crazy, right? Your $200 rebate now gone. Even though you knew it was pennies, what did he replace it with? $34. Yeah, $34 a month for a couple of months. That's what you got. I mean, if you thought that $200 was a slap in the face, imagine that. Now it's just $34. And you got to get that every month until roughly about April. But yeah, free rides for everybody. That's what this guy's doing. But that $500 million, wow, couldn't have just come out of nowhere, right? I mean, maybe I'm stretching. Maybe I need to check myself before I riggedy-wreck myself. Because I don't want to think that was the tourism money. I can't help but think it is. Something about it just sounds suspicious. Just ironically, that they said that the money went into the general fund and did not go back to the restaurants or the towns that collected the 1% tax to the tune of $550 million. And then this surplus amount of money shows up after the fact. And they just said it was there. It was a surplus. And for everything I get, it's like, where's all this surplus coming from? It sounds crazy. And instead of the $200, now we're just giving it to schools. And everybody knows that this schools don't mean the kids. Schools mean the teachers and the administrators. Doesn't even go into the building. Everybody knows that, right? I don't know. I always find this guy hilarious. I just, again, it keeps driving me crazy. Day in and day out. Yes, that's my... Oh, they just realized that my guest is out there. Abby just showed up. But yeah, we're going to look into this. We're going to look into exactly where this money came from. And again, I need to know this. And I don't know how we're going to get those numbers or how we're going to find out. But I need to know if veterans are asking for this free transportation on buses. Because I haven't heard that. And I'd really love to know where that might be coming from. The K through 12 kids totally get that. I mean, they're getting a 50% discount on riding on buses. But the veteran thing, I don't know. What maybe I'm lost on this because I don't remember that ever being a story. But again, maybe somebody else knows. Perhaps the VA knows. Perhaps there's somebody who deals with veteran affairs who might be able to tell me. If you do and you do know, contact me at reeseontheradio.com. All right, that's REESE on the radio.com. Just fill me in on that. I'd like to know. All right. We'll come back. We'll set up our interview with Abby Wadsworth-Boretto, talking to her in the next hour. Plus, your traffic and weather is coming up as well. So we got a whole bunch of stuff to get into. Please make sure you're back here for the 5 o'clock hour for the stupidest thing I read today. You are not going to believe this guy. It is it's quite the story. It's quite the story. You don't want to miss it. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio.
Is life insurance on your list of New Year's resolutions? Now is the perfect time to add it. A buddy told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I added this to my list this year and got it done. I called SelectQuote and was shocked at how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $18 a month. My wife's also 40, and her $500,000 policy was only $16 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, no medical exam was required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Checking this off my list felt great, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-280-5858 for your free quote today. That's 1-800-280-5858. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-280-5858. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
For decades, Morgan & Morgan has represented hundreds of thousands of people at their hour of need. Injuries on the job, car crashes, medical malpractice, and nursing home abuse. Social Security claims, dangerous drugs, and dangerous products. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason, and no firm is even close. Then we got to thinking, what if we could prevent these terrible events before they occurred? So we built the AI-powered People Protector. Simply visit peopleprotector.com and type in the product you have questions about before you buy it. Children's toys and accessories, cars, drugs, products, you name it, we got it. With our success, we decided to pay it forward for all of America. Our way of saying thank you for your trust all these years. Morgan & Morgan, protecting America. And if you've already been injured, just visit us at forthepeople.com.
Herbie Fisher. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. Mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. Reese on the Radio, live, WTIC, News Talk 1080. We have Abby, who's in the house. Abby Wadsworth-Boretto in the house, and she's got a documentary called The Ring and the Mountain. It is an interesting story, and, of course, we'll talk about her work with the Gary Sinise Foundation and everything else she's doing. We'll have a great conversation today. She'll be quite fun. I've already started talking to her, and she seems like a fun gal, as they say. We'll have a bunch of fun here, and we'll get to that. Then we'll get to news after the fact. We'll also dive deep into the James Comey indictment about the seashell scandal, which I know a lot of people are going to be screaming and hollering, like, I can't believe he's indicted for that. Just like, he's an FBI director. He should know better. We'll get into that. And, of course, we'll get into a little bit more of the other indictments that are going on. Also, there is another story, and I've been this guy for a long time. I write an article on Substack. You can find it on ReeseOnTheRadio.com. I've never fancied myself as some sort of journalist, but it appears people like the pieces that I write, and I appreciate that. But I'll never stand up there with these guys who have done it for 10, 20, 30 years. I'm new. But the thing that I cannot let sit by is some of this ridiculous how do I put this? Alarmism about things that don't exist. And there's an article in The Day written by, I'm trying to figure out this guy's first name or last name, Chouanier. I guess that's the spelling of his name, Chouanier, who wrote an article talking about the election of 2026, the midterms. and sort of stoking this fear about how the elections are going to be tampered with in some way. And there's a lot of this insane alarmism. So if I can say something to those of you on the political left who listen to this program, and I know you do, stop pretending you don't. I know you here. And God bless you for it. I really do. I appreciate you being here. You know? You got to learn somewhere. Let me tell you this. Okay. If you have a problem with ICE agents at polling places, it only says something about you. It says nothing about Donald Trump or about us as Republicans or MAGA folks. It says nothing. Let me explain. Philadelphia, 2008. 2, maybe 3 very militant Negroes were standing outside of a polling place with weapons. You do remember that, right? I remember it. I have video of it. Sometimes I keep it as a screensaver. These gentlemen were standing outside of a polling place, and they were telling people as they walked in, you better be voting for Barack Obama. I remember it. Charges were brought to the then Eric Holder Department of Justice. Nothing was done. Voter intimidation happened in front of everyone's eyes, and it was everywhere. And I mean it was everywhere. It was on CNN. It was on then MSNBC. It was on the interwebs, and of course it was on the much-watched Fox News. Hannity led with it almost every night. So you know that millions of people saw it and nothing happened. And by the way, you said nothing. So, the new Black Panther Party, standing outside a polling place in 2008 to make sure that people vote for the black man, and ICE agents outside of a polling place to make sure that illegals do not vote in the upcoming elections. I think I know who I'm going to side with. And you should too. You should probably take into consideration that it's a good thing that we don't have illegals voting in our elections. I always say that the pendulum switches or swings the other way eventually. You know, sometimes it could come back at you and you'll be screaming, it was rigged! Like some guy in 2020. I don't know who that was. You know, some guy, old real estate guy. Ended up becoming president. I'm just saying, I'm just out of my mind. Whatever. What are you going to do? Okay. All right. So we'll go to weather, and I have no idea who's doing weather. Do we have a new weather guy? Oh, is it somebody different every day? Oh, it's like a roundabout weather. Okay. Let's find out who's doing weather today. The WTIC Traffic and Weather Center. All right, we'll be back. Abby Wadsworth-Boretto is joining us when we return, so stick around for that. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC, NewsTalk 1080.
WTIC weather.
We will see our temperatures slowly decline this week, an increase in the cloud cover overnight with a low temperature of 42, a mix of sun and clouds tomorrow up to 65, some rain tomorrow night into the first part of Thursday down to 49 tomorrow night, the high temperature only 58 on Thursday. It'll be cloudy in the afternoon and cloudy Thursday night with a low of 42. A mix of sun and clouds, we add a little bit of a northwest breeze on Friday, the high 59. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment was "Thou shalt not speak ill of another Republican," a political rule established in the 1960s to foster party unity by discouraging public infighting. On May 7th, WTIC NewsTalk 1080 will host the 11th Commandment Republican gubernatorial debate, with candidates vying for the Republican nomination at the private event room at Stadium 15 in Farmington. The debate will be live on the air, but if you'd like to be in the audience, listen to Brian and Company every morning and Reese on the radio every afternoon for your chance to win a pair of tickets. WTIC NewsTalk 1080's 11th Commandment Republican gubernatorial debate is sponsored by AARP Connecticut.
As winter fades and the warmth of spring fills the air, Be sure to tune to WTIC News Talk 1080. Bob Cox and the WTIC weather team will guide you through the ever-changing springtime weather with updates on the 8s every weekday morning and afternoon. Don't let the unpredictable spring weather catch you off guard. Tune in throughout the day and stay informed and prepared. Connecticut's most accurate local weather is on WTIC News Talk 1080. This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Partly sunny skies, 68 degrees right now in Hartford. Britain's King Charles addressed a joint meeting of Congress this afternoon. He referenced the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner on Saturday night.
Let me say with unshakable resolve, such acts of violence will never succeed.
Charles marked the 250th anniversary of American independence from Britain and highlighted the enduring bonds between the two nations. Charles is only the second British monarch to speak to Congress, following his mother, the late Queen Elizabeth II, in 1991. Another indictment against former FBI Director James Comey.
This is the second time Comey has faced charges brought by President Trump's Justice Department. The specific charges aren't known, but stem from an image he briefly shared to Instagram last year that showed seashells arranged in the sand to form the numbers 8647. Then Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said Comey had called for the assassination of the president. Comey deleted the photo and said he didn't realize the numbers were associated with violence.
Correspondent Cammie McCormick reporting. New funding from the state for school systems facing massive budget deficits. Governor's office says the state budget deal for fiscal 2027 includes an additional $170 million for education, plus another $100 million from what Speaker Matt Ritter calls a Pequot grant. That means Hartford will get a much-needed $30 million after a lot of lobbying from Mayor Aruna Naralampalam.
I think really good news and really positive news. We really need help to just get through this budget year and ensure that we are not laying off tons of teachers and paraeducators, and that we are doing right by our students.
But the $30 million only covers about half of what's needed to close Hartford's school budget gap. The mayor says we'll hear more soon about how the remaining debt will be addressed. Police have made an arrest in a homicide in Stratford from earlier this month. It was back on April 4th. They say 43-year-old Paul Balzerano was found shot near a home on Woodstock Avenue. Now under arrest and charged with his murder is 22-year-old Robert Kopaz. He was picked up yesterday. In addition to murder, he's facing a number of weapons violations. The bond was set at $1.5 million. Latest on what President Trump is indicating regarding the latest offer from Iran on ending the war. Remy Inocencio reports.
The latest we're hearing right now is that President Trump is not happy with this latest Iranian proposal, and that pretty much means that the Strait of Hormuz will stay blockaded as it is. Checking the price of oil right now, it's hovering between $111, $112 a barrel. This is the highest that it's been in about a month.
And gas prices have gone through the roof again as well.
AAA says the price of gas is the highest it's been since April of 2022 as peace talks between the U.S. and Iran are at a standstill. This woman is watching the prices rise at a nearby gas station.
The one by my house yesterday was under $4, and now it's almost $4.15.
Many drivers in Boston say the cost to drive anywhere are ridiculous, and some are cutting back on food and household items as well. Allison Keyes, CBS News.
And the market's down today. The Dow off 31, the NASDAQ down 223, and the S&P down 35 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, well, getting older. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog and your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At Northeast Men's Health, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more, getting you back in the game again. So don't be older, be stronger in the gym. be sharper at work, be better in the bedroom, and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Reese is on the radio.
All right, it is the second half of Reese on the Radio coming up, and our guest is in the building, so we will talk to her, and that is Abby Wadsworth-Boretto. Am I saying that right? Am I saying that name right?
Just perfect.
Oh, look at that. I'm working it. She will be our guest. We'll talk about her documentary, about her organization, and about the event that is happening at Stadium 15. Yeah, we're noticing, we're talking a lot about them. Everything's happening over at that place.
The boys are busy.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. And, of course, her involvement as it relates to the Gary Sinise Foundation. That's coming up. Also, in the 5 o'clock hour, I just got off the phone with Mark Fitch. So I'm going to tell you the story that he wrote in the Connecticut Inside Investigator. If you haven't gone there already, go check it out. But if not, just wait for me to talk about it in the 5 o'clock hour, and Mark Fitch is going to join us with a couple of inside details on the story that he wrote. Again, I told you, it's 12 pages long, and it is insane what this guy is accused of doing down in Bridgeport. So we'll get all of that and much, much more coming up on the program. And who is it? Say again who's doing traffic and weather, because I'm going to forget her name. Sue Aller is coming up in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center, and we're doing a roundabout. Guess who's doing the weather coming up as well in the program. All the people who are contacting me, I promise you I will try to get to you after the show today. Just stand by. I will get to you after the show. Cheryl just sent an email. Okay, she's talking about the Eversource issue. We'll talk about that, of course, at the 5 o'clock hour. And I'm trying to figure out if there's something else that I missed. I feel like there's a story that I missed because I've got all of these papers sitting around here. Oh, and we'll talk a little bit more about that Fauci advisor, Morenz, Dr. David Morenz, who is under indictment. So I don't want to miss any of that. Plus your phone calls coming up in that hour at 860-522-9842. Sue Aller filling in for Mark Christopher today. She is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
I'm Sue Aller from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Not a good ride at all in Toland on 84 westbound between exits 69 and 68. You do have the right lane closed all because of a collision, and then it eases up for a little bit, but once you start getting towards East Hartford, you're hitting the brakes again. It is slammed between exits 56 and 45 eastbound. That's also real slow between exits 44 and 51. The southbound side of 91 slows down beginning in Windsor at exit 35A all the way to 84 at exit 32. Not too bad right now on the northbound side. You're looking good on Route 2, Route 3, and the 5 and 15. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
We've got a canopy of high clouds that's moving across the region, and the sun will continue to get dim behind those high clouds as they thicken and lower throughout the rest of the afternoon and through tonight. The high 71 this afternoon, the low 42 overnight. We'll have a little bit of sun and a little bit of clouds tomorrow, the high temperature 65. It will become rainy tomorrow night. Matter of fact, there could be some ponding of water in the roads Not looking at any flooding problems, but just areas where the water could puddle up a bit. The low temperature 49. After a little bit of rain on Thursday morning, it'll be cloudy and cooler with a high of 58. Mostly cloudy Thursday night down to 42. A mix of sun and clouds on Friday, but a bit breezy. The high temperature only 59. Right now it's 71 in Plainville, 66 in Wallingford, and 70 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Have bad teeth that need to be replaced? Don't like removable dentures? Worry no more. Come on down to Columbia Implant Center in Manchester any day of the week and ask for the all-on-4 procedure. Call us at 860-643-1898.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire America's largest injury law firm for your case? There's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting for justice and compensation, millions of people across the country trust us to go to battle for them. We became the largest injury law firm in the world for a reason. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial pound law.
Nicholas Russo, 157 Church Street, New Haven, 06510.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Everything you knew about reaching customers online is being rewritten. Time to rethink your approach. Outcomes from Viant finds real customers. Not impressions, not clicks, customers. Our AI maximizes every dollar of your budget against the outcomes that matter most and proves it happened. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, as promised, Abby Wadsworth-Boretto is on the program. You may need to move your microphone just a little closer to you. Are you a loudspeaker? And what I mean by, you know how some people say, it's like, I speak from the diaphragm. I don't need the microphone this close. I just do.
Yeah, no, I never claim that I speak from my diaphragm. I might start now.
No, I think you're good. I can turn you up if necessary. So, okay. Abby, and by the way, thank you for being on the show. Thank you for asking to be on the show. Dana Fortin of Between Rounds said, I got to get her on your show, man. She's a great friend, and what she's doing is fantastic. And what you do, you're doing everything. You are as busy as it gets. You're my kind of people because there's like not a moment where you're sitting still. You are anywhere and everywhere you need to be doing documentaries, doing this foundation, helping others, getting involved with business and, economic development in the Farmington area. Talk to me about the crux of what you do and where you spend most of your time. Is it now in this space where you're doing documentaries and doing the foundation with Gary Sinise and your foundation? Is that where you are, or other places?
I'm everywhere.
I love it. There it is, right? So that's the case. You're doing it. So nobody can really pigeonhole you.
No, they cannot. I keep really busy.
Yeah.
I would say my forte is at the community level. I enjoy community. I love bringing community together. I love getting involved in community. That is my true spirit and where my heart lies. I love philanthropy, and that's really where I love to be. The documentary is certainly something I continue to work on. I use that film as a fundraiser for other organizations,
right?
Which is what I'll be doing in May.
This is the most important part about what you do and what you did was you took your own story to bring attention to other families who sort of have this happen to them. Let's get a sort of a breakdown of this. So your documentary is called The Ring in the Mountain.
Right.
And the significance of that title is exactly what happened to you in your life. Your dad.
Yep, my father.
Had passed away in a plane crash when you were very young. About how old?
Yeah.
6 or
15 months.
15. That's right. You were really young.
Yeah, helicopter crash.
Helicopter crash in a very remote area. Tell everyone where this was.
Yeah, so it's about 200 miles within the Arctic Circle on a inhabited but fairly remote island called Grutia, just outside the city of Harstad. And this happened in 1972 during a NATO mission called Operation Strong Express. And he was killed along with 4 other Marines on the last day of operations.
And this particular place, as it's described in the documentary, is a very rough sort of weather and just the environment itself. Like, they deal with harsh winters, harsh conditions. So a helicopter crash like this is rare. It's not rare, I should say, or the conditions where someone would fly in are not rare, that they would probably run into trouble in some ways.
Listen, that place, Mother Nature, she has a mind of her own. And I've seen it roll in within minutes. I've seen the weather change there. So, even though the helicopter crash still to this day is still undetermined, I can understand that weather took a part in it for sure.
So your father passes away, dies in this plane crash. You're 16 months old. Of course, you grow up without him. And certain events happen in your life, in particular with your mom, as to the reason why this title is the title. This ring plays a huge role in all of this. Tell everyone about how the ring from your mom sort of runs through to the ring of your dad.
Okay. Right. Well, that's a pretty elaborate part of the story.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's back up just a little bit. So my father graduated from the Naval Academy in 1970, and he went into the Marines to become a pilot. So he was flying with his ring on that day. And as you can imagine what happens in a helicopter crash of that magnitude, the ring was never recovered at that time. And so you fast forward to, I'm about 16 years old, and my mother gives me what's called the sweetheart ring. And it's almost an exact replica of my father's ring.
If I may, what's the I guess the background of the sweetheart ring? Is this a ring that your father had given her? Or?
That's right. So the sweetheart rings, I don't know about what happens in today's Naval Academy, but back in the day, in the 70s, 60s, and further back, the ring was presented as your engagement ring.
Okay.
And so also you can imagine back, sort of in the 70s, right, there was the recipe of life, right? So these guys would graduate and be married fairly quickly.
Yeah.
But anyway, so my mother had almost the same ring as my father's, a little bit different, encrusted in diamonds that she gave me. I think I was about 16 years old. And fast forward a little bit, I had been living in Maui, Hawaii. And I have no idea why I did this, but I was swimming in the ocean with that ring on, and I came up out of the ocean, and it flew right off my finger.
Wow.
And, of course, huge gut punch, right? Like, oh, and I could feel it. And, I didn't know a lot about my father, and I really didn't have too much of a connection, but this ring was the connection between both my mother and my father. So, obviously, it carried some importance. But after some searching, and, I don't know how many people have lost things in the ocean, but the recovery is probably zero, right? 0%. And so, but I sort of made this strange proclamation at that time that the ring would come back to me. And it sure enough did, not in the sweetheart ring form, but when I was 21, my father's Naval Academy ring arrived in a package from Norway. It had been located after 21 years.
And this was somebody who was, I guess, traveling up the terrain where this accident took place.
That's right.
And ran into it, and that started this mission to get the ring, I guess, to get that ring to its rightful owner. Maybe there was family, and that leads us to where you are. The documentary, I don't want to give all the documentary away, but that's there's so many more details to this. And of course, it's a little more than, 50?
It's about 58 minutes long.
Yeah, 58 minutes long. And you should check it out. We'll get you the link of that. But if you come to the event, you'll also get to understand it. Or are you guys going to show the documentary at the event?
Yes. So the full documentary. So we have 2 documentaries.
Yes. Talk to me about the other documentary if you could, because I know that they're somewhat related in a way.
They're fairly similar. So
what's the name of that one, by the way?
That one is called The Last Ring Home.
Okay.
And a similar story of a Naval Academy ring coming back to its family, its owners, 20 years after the death of that service member. His name was Minter Dial, Lieutenant Minter Dial. This is a World War II story and a Death March story, but a spectacular story nonetheless. I mean, these rings are quite magical, very powerful, if you will. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because as I was watching your documentary about, losing that ring, sort of, you think that one accident is sort of the end of the story because you're saying to yourself, goodness gracious, you've lost a piece of, it's not just an heirloom, it's almost like a connection to the people in your life, your mother and your father. Your mother gives you that because sort of there's a remnant, if you will, of your father having never known him. And when you lose that ring, you almost feel like you've lost everyone, right? So when your family pass on, you have nothing there. Right. And this ring is almost brought to you as not just a replacement, sort of to bring it all home. It's these kind of stories, they write themselves, but they're brilliant in so many ways because it gives people a sense of hope in a lot of ways. What was it like the minute that you got that ring?
You know what? So hope is absolutely a tagline within this film. You should never give up hope, and these stories need to be told. I will tell you that when that ring arrived, I mean, I think I was really struck, right?
Yeah,
because
right.
I had made that strange proclamation, right?
Yeah.
But understanding the spiritual side of it. But the thing is I really didn't know my father. He was sort of a quiet story in the background.
Sure.
I'm quite certain now, upon reflection, that it was difficult for my mother. I'm sure she suffered from some PTSD from that entire situation. She was 22 years old, married and a widow, in this short period of time. Also very excited that my father was going to a NATO mission because people don't die during NATO.
Yeah.
He wasn't being sent to Vietnam. So to have this happen, I think, was so detrimental.
Yeah.
You're 22 years old. You don't know anything, right? And so when I received the ring, I feel like it was sort of the same. Like, it was spectacular. This is very cool. But I did take the package and I packed it away into a memory box. I did take it out from time to time to tell the story. But I wasn't equipped. I had no real relationship, if you will, knowing my father.
But it set that mission.
Yeah, 27 years later,
but
during
it was still,
COVID.
Yeah, exactly. And you have the ring around your neck now,
Yep.
and you showed it to me earlier. It almost looking, you haven't cleaned it or anything. It was found literally in the condition that it's in now.
That's right.
And it's beautiful. I would have never known it was sitting on the side of like a mountain or anything.
You can't believe it.
Yeah, it's incredible. But you have to see the documentary. It's The Ring and the Mountain. And if you want to go to the fountain, what is the event called, by the way? I don't know why I missed that title.
So that's okay. So the event is called For the Love of Veterans.
Okay.
And we're doing that during our Memorial Month.
Mhm.
And so even though it's our Memorial Month, I am partnering with the Gary Sinise Foundation. And the proceeds, will be donated to that foundation to help veterans, their families, and of course first responders. I don't want to leave them out.
Yeah.
They're vital as well, and a military of their own, if you will. So I do want to stress that they are part of this.
This is I tell you the story like this, and there are so many other stories that you can, that not even about service members, but there are so many stories of those people who have that disconnect with their sort of family tree, or even lost loved ones. People have lost their family members before they ever got to know them. This, in a lot of ways, I mean, you, again, during the COVID pandemic, sort of sparked an interest into finding more about your father. Was it because you had so much time on your hands and you were like, tell me a little bit about the genesis of how that, without giving anything away, if you will, if you can.
Right.
What was the COVID angle that made this story begin?
Well, I mean, what was COVID?
That was a mess. I mean, we're still reeling from it.
Right? Yeah, we are still reeling from it, and we're still reflecting on what was COVID, right?
Yeah.
And so it was around Halloween night, about 6-7 months before I was turning 50, and I was really sort of reflecting on what is this? What is happening? Are we dying? Is this a zombie apocalypse? I mean, so many things were going through so many people's heads, right? But I was certainly having forward momentum. I am a forward momentum type of person, and
Yeah.
I'm always trying to move in a positive momentum. And so with light at the end of the tunnel, I was sort of reflecting on, who I am, who have I been, and who do I want to be moving into the future. And at that moment in time, the ring almost presented itself. I was going sort of through some memory stuff, kind of reflecting on life, and boy, the package that the ring sits in with its letter just sort of presented itself. And at that moment, I said, I got to find this guy, Hans Krogstad. And I started my mission.
Yeah. Sort of, idle hands could be the devil's playground, but in your case, it was sort of revealing and I guess in a lot of ways sort of closing an empty chapter.
Certainly wanting to say thank you. I that was really my intention.
Okay.
I've always known this is a great story.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
It's a spectacular story. But it wasn't my intention to tell the story at that moment in time. It was really just to find Hans. And lo and behold, it was to no avail. I never heard back from him. I only had sort of one way to reach out to him, and it was through a magazine article written in Norwegian, like I can understand it. But I sent a message through Facebook, and I never heard anything until about 7 months later.
Wow.
When the Naval Academy called me. So I thought I did something wrong.
Oh.
And but it turns out Hans had been looking for me at the same time.
Ain't that great?
I mean, that's kismet. That's cosmic.
Yeah,
that's magic.
It is. It's above and beyond. So when we get back, I want to talk a little bit about the foundation and talk about your relationship with the Gary Sinise Foundation, sort of how that forged. And we also want to talk about some of your personal ventures here in not Hartford, but in Farmington. Are you a original Farmington person?
I sure am.
Yeah, born and raised.
14th generation.
14th generation.
That's right.
You're from. I heard your family runs deep in Farmington.
There's a few of us left.
Few.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I'm hoping something positive. We're going to come back with Abby. Why am I forgetting your middle name? Or your middle by the way, is that a married name? Wadsworth?
Wadsworth is my maiden name.
Maiden name, okay.
And Boretto is my husband's name, my beautiful husband.
Okay, Boretto, okay.
That's
that. I'm still trying to figure out why some women hyphenate, but I would almost imagine. I don't want to ask you. I just always wonder.
Okay.
That's all. I don't want
I'll
to put
just
you in
tell
that
you that people assume I'm hyphenated. That's just a Facebook name.
Oh, is that just you just have because they make you put the hyphen in?
Well, it's better for people to find you, right?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Well, if they knew me from before I got married,
oh
then
yeah,
they're looking
okay,
at my old name.
That makes sense. Okay, I figured. All right, that's it. Anyway, we'll talk about the foundation. We'll talk about, by the way, the dates. We want to talk about that to get people to come in to Stadium 15 so they can watch the documentaries and, of course, help out veterans and, of course, families like these and so many others and first responders who need your help. So we'll talk about that on the other end of it. We'll get to weather and traffic. Don't forget, coming up at 5 o'clock, we're going to talk to Mark Fitch from Connecticut Inside Investigator about the stupidest thing I read today, and it deals with a Bridgeport special ed teacher. If you haven't seen the article yet, go look it up. We'll talk to him about the details of that story and what he didn't put in the story that may astound you, or at least I'm expected to be astounded because I'm already through the roof on this story. Abby Wadsworth-Boretto will be back with us in a moment. Let's get to traffic and weather. And Sue Aller, that's her name. She's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Thank you, Roland.
I'm Sue Aller from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. What a big mess in Toland on 84 westbound. 3 right lanes are closed now with the crash between exit 69 and 68. It is completely jammed. And then it eases out for just a little bit, but once you make your way towards East Hartford, you're slowing down again. You're hitting those brakes between exits 56 and 45. And then on the eastbound side, it's a slow go between exits 44 and 51. Not too bad on the northbound side of 91, but southbound, that is jam-packed starting in Windsor, beginning at exit 35A all the way down to exit 32. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
We will see our temperatures slowly decline this week, an increase in the cloud cover overnight with a low temperature of 42, a mix of sun and clouds tomorrow up to 65, some rain tomorrow night into the first part of Thursday down to 49 tomorrow night, the high temperature only 58 on Thursday. It'll be cloudy in the afternoon and cloudy Thursday night with a low of 42. A mix of sun and clouds. We add a little bit of a northwest breeze on Friday, the high 59. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Hey, baseball fans, you can win tickets to a Boston Red Sox game with the Red Sox Player of the Game contest. Just listen when we announce the player of the game during the 7th inning stretch. That would be during the break in the middle of the 7th inning, during every game broadcast on WTIC. Then tune into Brian and Company the following morning at 8:10. Know the player of the game, be the correct caller, and you'll win a pair of tickets to an upcoming game in Boston. It's the Red Sox Player of the Game contest, only on WTIC News Talk 1080. And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 4:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. We have partly sunny skies. Temperature is 71 degrees. King Charles addressed a joint meeting of Congress today.
Standing here today, it is hard not to feel the weight of history on my shoulder, because the modern relationship between our two nations and our own peoples spans not merely 250 years, but over 4 centuries.
Charles, only the second British monarch to address Congress after his mother, the late Queen Elizabeth II, did so in 1991. Former FBI Director James Comey again indicted, this time over a social media photo of seashells arranged on a beach that officials say constituted a threat against President Trump. Comey says he assumed the arrangement of the shells reading 8647 was a political message, not a call to violence against Trump. Police in Brantford are charging a 46-year-old convicted felon, Alexander Aranzo, with numerous weapons charges after he was allegedly found in possession of a cache of weapons, including 28 long guns and 8 handguns. Brantford police received a tip from the TSA concerning a suspicious package for Aranzo with a suppressor inside, which was intercepted at JFK Airport in New York. Units of the Connecticut National Guard is going to ship out to assist in the war against Iran. There was a send-off ceremony this morning at Bradley Air National Guard Base in East Granby. About 150 soldiers, MPs with the 192nd Military Police Battalion will deploy to an undisclosed location in support of Operation Epic Fury. Developing state budget for fiscal year 2027 is in crunch time. The legislative session closes a week from tomorrow. House Speaker Ritter says under a deal with the governor's office, the budget includes $170 million to raise the amount the state spends on each student, along with $100 million more from a Pequot grant for towns and cities, also to boost education spending. And Taylor Swift filed 3 new trademark applications with the Patent and Trademark Office last week. Legal expert theorizes it is to protect her voice and image from potential misuse through artificial intelligence. Dow finished down 25 points today. The Nasdaq shed 223 and the S&P was down 35. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Carpal tunnel syndrome. Heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines.
These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, Reese on the radio. We're here. We'll be back with Abby Wadsworth-Boretto. In a moment, we'll talk to her, continue to talk to her, of course, about her foundation and what she's doing for better, and an opportunity for you to actually come to her event at Stadium 15. We'll talk about that with her and a whole bunch more about veterans, about veterans help, and how you can be a part of that at Stadium 15 coming up in the next couple of weeks. And we'll talk to her about all of that. Also, I want to take an opportunity. Let me see. Do I have enough time? Yes, I have enough time because I'm not going to have enough time later on. Let's do it. Where is it? That's right there. And yeah, let's do some music news. News. In music news today, let me see. I'm just going to peep here. Some woman named Melanie Martinez. I have no idea who she is. She's only 31 years old, so we don't care. Howard Donald turns 58 today. He was a part of that boy band called Take That back in the days. Remember that? Take That, Take That. Do you think they took that name from P. Diddy? They did. Oh, did Diddy take that name? No, I don't believe that. Anyway, that's an English sort of British pop group. They were like the sort of answer to New Kids on the Block. So Howard, I should say, turns 58 today. Eddie Jobson turns 71. He is a virtuoso violinist who worked with Roxy Music and King Crimson and also Frank Zappa. Kim Gordon turned 73. She is one of the co-founders of the great group back in the day, Sonic Youth. That's right. She's also a bass player. And Chuck Leavell turned 74. He's from the Allman Brothers Band. And if I pronounce his name wrong, that's because I don't follow the Allman Brothers, much like I don't follow a lot of groups. But Allman Brothers are not one of them. I know people hate that. Send me your evil comments to reesonatheradio.com. 23 years ago, Apple, can you believe this? 23 years ago, Apple launched iTunes, the iTunes Store, back in 2003. It was the first major legal digital music operation. And, of course, that was after Napster. But, yes, that was iTunes 23 years ago. 28 years ago, Dave Matthews Band, Before These Crowded Streets, debuted at number 1. 47 years ago, Blondie's Heart of Glass hit number 1 on the U.S. Billboard 100. That was back in 1979. And 48 years ago today, Cheap Trick records the Budokan shows in Tokyo. That has become a landmark live album, Cheap Trick at Budokan in 1978. And 53 years ago, Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon reaches number 1. And David Seville's Witch Doctor begins its multi-week run at number 1 68 years ago in 1958. And if you don't know who David Seville is, he is famous for Alvin and the Chipmunks. Ring a bell? Let's go to Sue Aller. She's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Did I get it right this time? I got it right. Yeah, I thought so.
I'm Sue Aller from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Well, it looks like this crash in Toland on the westbound side of 84 is just about cleared between exit 69 and 68. We have 3 right lanes down, but now everything is off to the shoulder. Traveling through East Hartford, though, it is a slow go westbound on 84 between exits 56 and 45. On the eastbound side, you're tapping on those brakes between exits 44 and 51. Also stop and go southbound on 91 between exits 35A in Windsor all the way down to 84 at exit 32. And now just spotted an accident in Middletown on the northbound side of 91 right at exit 21. The left lane is blocked. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
That sun is being filtered by some mid and high level clouds, and those clouds will continue to increase as we go throughout the rest of the afternoon into the overnight. After a high of 71, going down for a low temperature of 42 overnight. We'll have some sun and clouds tomorrow, a dry day, the high temperature 65. It'll become rainy tomorrow night into the first part of Thursday. There could be some ponding of water in the roads, but we're not looking for any flooding problems. We go down to 49 degrees tomorrow night, the high temperature only 58 on Thursday. After that rain ends in the morning, it will be cloudy. Mostly cloudy Thursday night, down to 42 degrees. We've got a couple of breezy, cool days ahead. Friday, only 59 with the mix of sun and clouds. A shower on Saturday, the high 57, and then 58 will do it on Sunday with a mix of sun and clouds. 71 degrees right now in Bristol, 66 in Cheshire, and 70 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Dial pound law.
Nicholas Russo, 157 Church Street, New Haven, 06510.
Staples has hundreds of ways to grow your business this spring, like spectacular signs, brilliant brochures, eye-popping posters, mouth-watering menus, and more. Shop now through June 13th and save up to $150 on all your custom prints. Staples, that was easy.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brian Jackman here for Serta Pro Painters. Listen, I had an incredible experience with them. They gave me a great estimate. They were there on time, and when they came to paint our kitchen, they were in and out, and when they were gone, it was like they were never there, except they left a beautiful kitchen. Maybe it's time for you to take a look at their spring sales event. You can get 10% off qualifying projects through May the 15th. Serta Pro Painters, they're independently owned and operated right here in our community. So you might want to give them a call. Start spring off right. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Serta with a C.
Sale ends soon. Don't wait.
It seems like just yesterday when I captured my son's first steps or when we recorded his soccer games on VHS tapes. Those moments are gone. But the old home movies and pictures don't need to be. That's why my son created Legacy Box.
That's right, Mom. Over 1 million families have used Legacy Box to digitally preserve their old home movies and photos.
Simply fill Legacy Box with your old camcorder tapes, film, and photos. They will professionally digitize and send them back on DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud.
With Mother's Day around the corner, it's the perfect time to get your Legacy Box and save your family's history. After all, few things are as important as protecting your precious memories. Give your mom a Mother's Day present she'll never forget. Take advantage of our Mother's Day sale, which starts now. It's our best deal of the year. Save up to 60% off. Visit legacybox.com/radio and for a limited time, get an incredible 60% off your order. That's legacybox.com/radio for 60% off. legacybox.com/radio.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. It's Reese on the radio, and Abby Wadsworth-Boretto is here with us as well with, again, the organization. Why am I forgetting the name? I'm just forgetting it now. With the Gary Sinise Foundation,
Yes.
It is flat. I'm sorry.
What?
The name of your foundation?
No. So I don't actually have a foundation.
Okay, what's the name of the event?
Right. So the event is For the Love of Veterans.
Thank you.
Yep.
Sorry, For the Love of Veterans. I apologize. So my notes are not in front of me. They're everywhere.
It's okay.
Okay, For the Love of Veterans, which is an association with the Gary Sinise Foundation, and you're going to be showing the two documentaries.
Mm-hmm.
One is called The Ring in the Mountain, and the other one is called The
Last Ring Home.
The Last Ring Home.
That's right.
Why is it titled that, by the way? When you said it the first time, I was just like, I don't want to interrupt her, but I want to know why it's titled that.
I've never asked Minter that question, but I suspect probably because, it happened. It came back home in 1967. So
wow.
Of, out of the Philippines, and that story is also just an amazing story. And I'm really excited to put this event on to show these two films because they really are based in legacy and honor.
Yeah, and you really want people to come out to it. So
I do.
It is at Stadium 15. Is this going to be in the ballroom as well, in the event room?
Yep.
Okay.
Where my senior prom was. I mean, is it
No!
hard to believe?
Are
I'm
you
not even
serious?
kidding. I know. You can't believe it. Things come full circle. You can't believe it.
Well, this is what happens when you live in Farmington your entire life,
This
right?
is true. Well, I did take a little sabbatical for 25 years, and I was in San Diego. But yes, now I'm back.
You're back. So it's going to be in your former prom hall.
That's right.
At the event room at Stadium 15, and this is May 18th.
May 16th.
May 16th. Ugh, I'm screwing this up. I apologize.
Reese is not
I'm
together
not
today.
together. Because so many people are calling me today.
Oh, my gosh.
Sorry, May 16th. What time?
It starts at 5 o'clock.
Okay, so 5 o'clock,
That's right.
May 16th, at the event ballroom at Stadium 15. Go there, and you have an offer for any WTIC listeners.
I do. So the event, again, is for the love of veterans, and it's on the Eventbrite platform.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to offer WTIC listeners today 2 for 1 to the event. So the event, like I said, is a night of storytelling, and it supports the Gary Sinise Foundation. There'll be spirits, as I say, some food, and some storytelling. It should turn out to be a great night.
And this place seats a lot of folks, and it is going to be probably a great night to hear a bunch of wonderful stories. Of course, you encourage other veterans to come and see this story. Because not only will it pull at their heartstrings, but it will remind them, as many of these stories do, remind them of those days of yore, if you will, and serving, and many of their friends who have fallen. This is a story about them, about members of their fraternity or sorority, if you will, in many ways. And it's an opportunity to share these wonderful stories in film form. To see as they laid out, and kind of like how so many different stories come full circle in people's lives.
Yeah, they do.
And I love that, I said, it's a lot of hope for people, and that's truly the nature of all of this. It's
yeah. Well, so I've certainly seen the impact that this film has on those who have seen it.
Yeah.
And again, at the core of this story, even though it has a big military undertone, if you will, it is a story about a Naval Academy ring making its way home, and that is one of the biggest symbols of the Academy. Is you've reached it if you've received your ring. The ring is also dipped in the 7 seas, and there's a big ceremony that surrounds the ring. But at the core of this story, it really is about a girl meeting her father for the first time posthumously through the people who knew him.
Yeah.
Short life, 24 years. So, I went back all the way to elementary school, high school. Of course,
your dad has some interesting, I guess, I would almost say circles, if you will. Do you want to name a few?
Well, I mean, it's pretty cool. He got his, I think it's called an accommodation from Robert Kennedy. So that's pretty neat. And he did go to high school and served on a lot of committees with Richard Gere, which is, kind of a fun little piece of history and legacy for me.
Finding that out about your father almost makes him pretty cool.
I know. What's so funny is I didn't know that. And, there's actually a picture of my father and Richard Gere in People magazine.
Really?
Yeah, pretty funny. Yeah, it's a high school picture,
And it's funny because that picture's always kind of been there.
It's always been there, and I had no idea.
And you had no idea.
No.
And I think that's why your story is so fascinating, and this documentary is so fascinating, is because all of this about your dad, the man you didn't know, and you are thinking, in essence, sort of died and existed in this plane crash, right? And you don't, you almost feel like that's it, right? There's a story. He grew up, he was 20-something, he's in a plane crash, and that's where the story began and where it ended. And then you find out, when you really put some backbone into it, a little bit of elbow grease, you find out that all these places your dad was sort of kind of ruminating, and you're discovering these new things, and the people he touched, and the lives that he was a part of, and you're like, wow, my dad was everywhere.
Yeah. It's interesting because, I have had a great life. I mean, I had a great grow up, really, for all intents and purposes. But I did grow up during a time where, we were still whispering divorce and cancer, was top secret words,
Yeah.
And I look back at that time, and I think I always knew something was missing, but I could never really put my finger on it. I mean, I don't know that I really grew up with kids that had divorced parents,
yeah.
right? Let alone one of their parents dying, right? And so I always knew something was a little off. But, you know, I do have a great family, and even though we didn't discuss my father too much, and you know what? That's just the way it goes.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm not upset about it. But once I started opening these doors, I mean, I even went to one of his high school reunions, and, you know, the ladies were like, oh, Rick. Like, you know, like, oh, remember he dated Susan? Oh, yeah, I was so, you know, jealous of Susan and things like that, you know. But also his civic mind and his also philanthropic heart. You know, he really documented his whole life. I'm so lucky he saved all of these things, which is so strange because I've done that through my life. So through this process, I have come to understand who I am.
Yeah, that's the greatest part of this story is you, in so many cases, when you grow up without a parent in this way, you have these things about yourself that are unrecognizable to the parent or the family that you have. And you're asking yourself, where are these things coming from? Because we have a tendency to believe that most of this stuff is nurtured behavior, right? It's like, I had to get it from somebody who's in my life. You don't think it's nature. And you realize that this is sort of like, why am I like this and not like these people? Then you meet your dad in this way, and all of these things start to line up. Like you said, the philanthropic part. You probably had that spirit in you all the time and didn't know where it came from, and there it is. And it sort of lends itself to the idea that the nurture versus nature argument that's there. What was that discovery like?
I feel like that's such a tough situation, the nature versus nurture.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer for that.
Really?
You know why? Well, I grew up a lot around my grandparents, and they were such huge givers, and I just sort of grew up doing that stuff, right? But as I've gotten older, my family that's still around here, they are all involved.
Wow.
They're involved in so many different ways throughout town and on committees and, other foundations and things. So we are naturally like that, I guess. But, in knowing my father's family, which I didn't know all that well. I saw them, but it was fractured.
Yeah.
But not negatively fractured. Fractured by distance and just sort of fractured, right? Of course, my mom remarried and life went on, and so I still have an Aunt Mimi, who is my father's youngest sister. She was 12 years old when he died.
Wow.
So everyone else is gone, and so I can talk to her about it, but she was also such a young gal.
Yeah.
So, but I think even within that family, my father was an anomaly. I just think, I'm not saying he was any better than the rest of the kids. I just think he was different than the other kid. I think he knew from a very young age that he wanted to be a pilot. He wanted to go to the Naval Academy, and he set himself up through his, high school years volunteering and doing those kind of things to make sure and ensure that he got into the Naval Academy. I will tell you, I was inducted into the Naval Academy. Class of 1970 was the only way I was getting in, but that happened last year. The class has been really, really great to me.
Yeah,
I'm so thankful.
It's an incredible journey, an incredible documentary. You have to watch it. Again, it's 58 minutes long. And it's slow in the sense of you get to learn about a place that a lot of people in this country know nothing about. I was like, where is this place? Like, what is it? And it looks like there was this part of the film I'm looking at, and I'm saying, like, is this place from, like, there's a movie ever been filmed here? Because it looks so remote. Like, you could only dream of a place, or Hollywood produce this place.
It's magical there.
It is magical, but the other part is like, who would live here? Right? Who would ever be, like, invested? Like, hey, honey, this is where we're going to live. What are the winters like? Well, they can be killer.
Well,
like,
6 months dark.
Yeah, 6 months dark.
6 months dark.
And it's so, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. here you discovered sort of, I think all of us sort of in watching the movie get to discover something. I mean, there's so much, just not just learning about your story, but learning about some place we've never been before. And that's the journey that's there. And your story incorporated in what we're learning about this small little place almost makes you want to find out more about the place. And that's what I find so brilliant. So I'm making sure I'm doing it right. May 16th, 5 o'clock, the ballroom in Studio 15.
I just want to correct you that Dana will kill us if we don't say it's the private event center.
The private event center.
You hear that, Dana? The private event center.
Private event center.
And thank you to those boys. Those both Pete and Dana have been extraordinary in helping me launch this event.
Absolutely.
Yes, they have been.
At Stadium 15, again, May 16th, 5 p.m. If you go to Eventbrite to go find out For the Love of Veterans. Right?
Yep.
I know. I'm figuring it out now. For the love of veterans, go to the Eventbrite site in order to purchase your tickets. If you are a WTIC member, it is a 2-for-1. So it means that if you are coming with a loved one, you want to bring a third person, there you go. You have an extra ticket for them to come out to the event to support this great organization. Of course, you know Gary Sinise, and if they are on board with this, they are giving it their blessing, and they are putting their back behind this event. So please go out and support. And plus, you get to watch 2 great movies as well. It's a double feature, folks.
It is a double feature.
A double feature. And come hang out with Abby, and I think you're going to have a great time. And you know what? Just for the love of it, you know what? I'll hang out. I'll be there.
Yes,
I've
you
already
will.
seen the movies.
Hey, come meet Reese.
Yeah, there you go. Come meet Reese.
Is he? He's the actual attraction.
Yeah, well, I don't know about all that. Roseanne will be there.
I know, Roseanne
she's
will
the
be
actual
there.
attraction.
Yes.
We were talking off the air. I won't say what it's about, but I think what you talked about with you and Roseanne is a great idea. And if we get that started, and we'll talk about it in great detail. I mean, you and I will have a conversation. What I want to do is see if we can get people to come to that, and we'll do that as a free event where people can actually come, because this story is so much deeper than what is on the screen in 58 minutes. And there's so many things that you can talk about that you didn't get a chance to do in the film that you want to share with so many other people who can connect to this story, who may have had a loved one who is lost, and sort of that disconnect between the child and their father, and the father they didn't know, or the service member that they didn't know. And there's so many other details that you can learn from that. So make sure you're there May 16th for the Love of Veterans with the Gary Sinise Foundation. It is at the Private Event Center at Stadium 15 at 5 o'clock, double feature. Go to the Eventbrite site in order for you to purchase your tickets. If you're a WTIC listener, it is a 2-for-1 bargain for you. And of course, myself, Reese on the radio, will be there. Abby Wadsworth-Boretto will be there. Roseanne and I, of course, will be there. And you'll get to also meet Dana. By the way, we can make Dana a celebrity. He doesn't like being a celebrity.
He's a celebrity in his own mind.
He's a celebrity in his own mind.
It's all good, you know.
He definitely is. Anything that we missed that I need to sort of remind the listeners of, other than just come to the event?
I'm going to say 2 things. One, give me a second to create the WTIC button 2-for-1.
Okay.
I'll do that this evening.
Okay.
And
but we'll talk. I'll bring it up another date so they can make sure that they can go to do it.
I would hope you're going to mention this every single day.
I promise you that I will.
Break. Does everybody hear that on WTIC?
I promise you. I make sure I will commit to that. In fact, if you'd like me to, you know what? Have me introduce the film, and then I'll promote it as much as possible, because I get to promote me.
Oh! It's a double. Look at who's 2-for-1 now. Me.
Yeah, I have an.
I get you.
Yeah, exactly. There you have it. Abby, sorry. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming in here.
I'm filled with gratitude.
Roseanne said to me, she goes, she's so attractive. I don't know why you women do that. She goes, she's so pretty. Wait until you meet her. She's so pretty. I'm like, can I look at her?
Oh. Thank you, Roseanne. Thank you, very, very kind.
Let's get
Thank you
this.
so much.
Sue Aller, she is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. We'll be back. It's Reese on the radio.
I'm Sue Aller from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Jam-packed southbound on the Wilbur Cross, all because of a collision right by Route 2. It is solid over here. And then the westbound side of 84 slows down between exits 56 and 45. Eastbound hitting the brakes between exits 44 and 51. You also have delays on the southbound side of 91 between exits 35A all the way to exit 32, but that accident on the northbound side of Middletown by exit 21 has been cleared away. This traffic sponsorship is brought to you by Whittlesey. Whittlesey wants your business to succeed. Whittlesey is more than an accounting firm. They're advocates for your business, delivering a robust set of solutions, including audit, tax, technology, cybersecurity, and advisory services. Learn more at wadvising.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
We will see our temperatures slowly decline this week, an increase in the cloud cover overnight with a low temperature of 42, a mix of sun and clouds tomorrow up to 65, some rain tomorrow night into the first part of Thursday down to 49 tomorrow night, the high temperature only 58 on Thursday. It'll be cloudy in the afternoon and cloudy Thursday night with a low of 42. A mix of sun and clouds, we add a little bit of a northwest breeze on Friday, the high 59. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Mystic, Hamden, Putnam. When you want local news, turn to WTIC News Talk 1080, reporting on the local stories that affect you. From Manchester to Mystic, Hartford to Hamden, and Putnam to Plymouth, one radio station has your local news and breaking news as it happens. WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen on your radio, smart speaker, and on your phone with the free Odyssey app. This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
5 o'clock, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. King Charles addressed a joint session of Congress marking America's 250th anniversary today. CBS's Linda Kenyon has the story.
The king traveled from a red carpet ceremony at the White House to the halls of Congress, where he acknowledged what he described as a time of great uncertainty, but also solidarity.
We stand united in our commitment to uphold democracy.
While praising the enduring friendship between the U.S. and the U.K., the king drew applause over his comments about Ukraine.
That same unyielding resolve is needed for the defense of Ukraine and her most courageous people.
The king and queen will cap off their trip to Washington with an official state dinner at the White House tonight. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
The governor and state lawmakers have a new budget deal that includes critical public school funding for Hartford and other communities. As we hear in this report from WTIC's Dave Mager.
This took a lot of lobbying from Hartford Mayor Runan Arulampalam.
Obviously, the speaker and I have been in touch multiple times a week.
About $30 million coming Hartford's way to cut down on a combined $70 million school deficit this year and next.
This will take care of a significant chunk, and I think there will be more coming out in the coming days on how the remainder of it will be addressed.
Governor Lamont says the city aid comes from $270 million added statewide to the 2027 budget for education and more. House Republican leader Vin Candelora says the state should be spending more on schools, saying towns are picking up too much of the burden. Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Former FBI Director James Comey has been indicted for a second time by the Department of Justice. Correspondent Lindsay Reiser.
Sources tell CBS News the charges are in connection to a social media post he put up last year that had 8647 written in seashells on the beat.
Comey was interviewed last May by the Secret Service after Trump administration officials say he was advocating the assassination of the president. Branford police say a convicted felon is facing firearms and other charges. Under arrest is 46-year-old Alexander Aranzo. Officers were notified by the Department of Homeland Security that they'd intercepted a package that had been shipped from China to JFK Airport in New York under the guise of an automotive fuel filter. Law enforcement discovered a firearm suppressor. Agents then set up a controlled delivery, which led to a search of Aranzo's home. That's where, according to police, they found 39 firearms along with 58 high-capacity magazines, body armor, several thousand rounds of ammunition, and drugs. In total, Aranzo faces over 120 counts. He's being held on $200,000 bond. Stratford man is behind bars, charged with murder. 22-year-old Robert Kobaz is accused in the April 4th killing of 43-year-old Paul Balzerano. Police got the call to an area of Woodstock Avenue in town where they found the victim. Kopacz is facing murder and weapons charges. About 150 soldiers attached to the 192nd Military Police Battalion of the Connecticut National Guard will soon find themselves supporting Operation Epic Fury. There was a send-off ceremony for the troops today at Bradley Air National Guard Base. Major General Francis Evon, the Connecticut National Guard Adjutant General, says the order came quickly.
When the order came on short notice, 33 days, these soldiers didn't hesitate. They didn't ask for more time, and they didn't look for a reason to say no.
Audio from WFSB. The soldiers are putting their civilian lives on hold to manage a facility for military prisoners at an undisclosed location in the Middle East. On Wall Street, the Dow finished down 25 points today, the NASDAQ down 223, and the S&P down 35. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
You know the rush when you reach that goal, when something you've worked for pays off. That's success. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we believe you should never stop chasing it. That's why we offer a skills-based education that helps move your career forward. Learn how to apply emerging technologies like AI and data science. Build your leadership and critical thinking skills. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 13th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
From politics to news to music to movies and anything above the sun and outer space and beyond, it's Reese on the radio. Damn, he's good. Only on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. It's Reese on the radio, and we want to thank Abby Wadsworth-Boretto for coming in. We're going to have her back before the event to remind you folks of the event for the love of veterans with the Gary Sinise Foundation, and see if you guys can come and hang out. And I will. The last time I introduced a documentary, it was for none other than Phil Donahue, who, when I was working at WRKO, his people from PBS brought him into my show to talk about, I guess, a movie about 23 senators who had opted, who had voted against the war in Iraq. And one of the people featured in the documentary was none other than Robert Byrd. And he was featured in the documentary. I'm like, a former Klansman? That's your argument? And I'll never forget, God rest his soul, Phil Donahue. I know he's passed on. But can you imagine your entire life watching Phil Donahue on TV, and then him sitting across from you, and you're arguing with the guy? I mean, we were shouting at each other in an interview. Phil Donahue, I'll never forget it. And he was making an argument about those who had been injured in Iraq, and was talking very lovingly about Robert C. Byrd to me. And he said, and I quote, "Robert Byrd is a much better man than either of us." I went, the Klansman? Phil Donahue, ladies and gentlemen. I couldn't believe it. And a moment that should have been like the pinnacle for a guy like me. That guy was the king of talk radio. And I'm yelling at him. What are you talking about? And I was ribbing him. He's like, what, are you for the war in Iraq? I said, yeah, it's killing Iraqi for your pappy. Yes, I was a bit of a jerk. Oh, I could tell so many stories. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Sue Aller is in for Mark Christopher. She's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
I'm Sue Aller from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. It's a 3-car crash slowing you down on the Wilbur Cross on the northbound side between exits 90 and 91. You do have the right lane blocked. It is slam-packed over here southbound. It's stop and go with rubberneckers, and then you're hitting those brakes on 84 westbound between exits 56 and 45. On the eastbound side, it's also very slow between exits 44 and 51. Southbound 91 slows down between exits 35A in Windsor all the way to 84. It is jammed as well. Northbound, really not too bad. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, so far for the month of April, we've had 2 inches of rain, but we average about 3.5 inches. So things are getting dry, but we do have some rain in the forecast later this week. Increasing clouds, the low temperature down to 42 overnight. We'll have some sun and clouds tomorrow, up to 65. It will become rainy Thursday night, tomorrow night that is, into the first part of Thursday. There could be some ponding of water on the roads, but we're not expecting any flooding. Down to 49 tomorrow night. Thursday's high only 58 degrees. It'll be cloudy in the afternoon. And then mostly cloudy Thursday night, down to 42. A mix of sun and clouds Friday, rather breezy, up to 59 degrees. Tomorrow, Saturday, we'll have an evening shower, otherwise partly cloudy, 57. And Sunday, the first Sunday in May, a mix of sun and clouds up to 58. Right now, 68 in Newington, 67 in Rocky Hill, and 67 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
ProHealth Physicians has proudly been keeping Connecticut healthy for nearly 25 years. ProHealth accepts Husky Medicaid, Medicare, TRICARE, and most major insurances. For trusted local care for your whole family, call 1-855-CT-MD-411 or visit ProHealthMD.com.
Dreaming of a perfect smile? At Columbia Dental, our orthodontic experts specialize in braces and clear aligners like Invisalign. Get the smile you've always dreamed of. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit ColumbiaDental.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds, and you can apply in minutes. You get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. That's ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Rates may vary.
In digital advertising, everyone talks about clicks, but clicks don't pay the bills. Sales do. Outcomes from Viant is a new way to advertise that prioritizes your bottom line. Our AI-driven technology looks past the noise to find the customers most likely to buy your product. It's smarter, faster, and designed for real-world results. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio, and as promised, the stupidest thing I read today, which, of course, look at me, I'm not ready for. It's so typical that I'm not ready for it. Here it is. Okay.
This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
Stupidest thing I read today out of Connecticut Inside Investigator. Headline: Bridgeport special ed teacher allegedly pocketed students' lunch money. A Bridgeport special education teacher is allegedly pocketing the change when his students, some of whom are nonverbal, buy lunch during weekly outings, according to several written complaints submitted by school staff and interviews with parents. The complaints also include more serious allegations, including failure to report student welfare issues and to the proper authorities, failure to address inappropriate behavior in the classroom, and leaving students sitting in the class with little to no instruction for long periods of time. Daniel Scully, a longtime special education teacher for Bridgeport Central High School, is purportedly under investigation by the school, according to emails obtained by inside investigators, but has not been placed on administrative leave, which is typical during the human resources investigations, and continues working with the students who range from 14 to I guess it's 21, among other egregious allegations. Wait for this, folks. This is good. Among other egregious allegations is that Scally has been shortchanging the students and their lunch money during weekly field trips. Generally, the students would go on 2 field trips per week. According to parents, on Tuesdays, they would typically volunteer at a food bank. And on Thursdays, the students would go to a store purportedly to gain life skills and experience functioning in public spaces. Following the Thursday trip, the students would get lunch at a fast food restaurant. In advance of these outings, Scully would send a letter home requesting that parents send $10 to $15 so their child could pay for lunch. But both parents and the staff complaints allege that the lunches cost less than Scully, and Scully keeps the change. With roughly 20 students, that can be substantial. Tamika Lemus says she brought in her autistic daughter, Dominique, from the Mississippi to Connecticut school district because she was regressing in the Mississippi system. And Connecticut's special education system was better. She wanted Dominique, who is very shy, to get a diploma so she can work after graduating. And she initially met with with Dominique, when Dominique, I should say, was enrolling into school. It was shortly thereafter that Lemus says that she received a request from Scully for $20 for lunch for a field trip, which she sent, but never received any money back. Furthermore, Lemus says that Scully was asking her for twice as much money as other parents, which became a point of contention. She says, quote, "I sent money with her $25 cash and didn't get anything back. I'm used to her going on field trips, and I'm used to change being sent back. So if another field trip comes up, we go back to what was left from the other and pull it together, and she'll have money for the next one." Scully, she says, would gather up all the money and purchase for the kids' meals, and he would literally buy them the cheapest things on the menu, pay for it, but never send the change home to the parents. Everything I've told you, I've already expressed to the school and the representatives over the special education portion of Central High. On the phone with us, the writer of this article is Mark Fitch. So I don't want to get into all the reading. This, my friend, is a Connecticut inside investigation for the ages. I am so impressed by this.
Well, thank you for having me on, Reese. Yeah, I mean, it was... I guess it's for the ages. I don't know. It was one of those things when I came across it, I was like, I can't believe I'm actually having to write this.
I know.
It was just, but, in talking to the staff members, in talking to the parents, who are all trying to do the right thing. And, these parents, a lot of them don't have much money to send along. And still they try to take care of the other students in the class who really don't have enough money. Everybody was trying to do the right thing, and it was just, seeing this happen or, this allegedly happening, it was just too much. And I was like, okay, we have to look into this a little bit more.
There are so many other things that are going on here that involve this teacher allegedly that are just, it seems like this guy is almost picking on special needs kids. This is like the worst kind of teacher in all of this. And I equate him to that character in the movie Something About Mary, played by Matt Dillon, who's, very disrespectful and mean to the special needs kids that in the school that Cameron Diaz's character is in charge of. Like, he's a very disrespectful and dismissive guy. This guy meets every one of those ridiculous criteria for someone who's absolute scum in these allegations.
Well, it just, what I kind of gathered, I mean, aside of the money issue, which I think is egregious,
right?
It just seemed like he'd given up on trying, and there was little supervision over, what he was doing, and it seemed like, the paraprofessionals in the classroom were doing the bulk of the work. And, Bridgeport's special education system has had a lot of problems.
Yeah.
A lot of formal complaints submitted against it. And supposedly they were working on, getting this all, fixed up and getting enough staff members and things like that. And then, obviously, the emails I had confirmed that, there was supposedly an investigation going on, but usually somebody's placed on leave when there's an investigation pending.
Right.
And that didn't happen in this case. Nobody would answer my questions as to why. But yeah, it was an odd situation. And with, there were 3 formal complaints sent to the heads of the school.
Wow.
I figure that would kind of get people moving, but apparently not in this case.
Without having to read most of the story, and it backwards and forwards, please explain to the audience some of the most, aside from the whole taking people's money, tell people some of the egregious stuff that this teacher, and again, if it was a what are they called? Para teachers? What are they called?
Yeah, paraprofessionals.
Yeah, paraprofessionals, because again, that's sort of like a sideline assistant teacher, so to speak. This is the actual teacher, the person who's in charge in that room. Tell the audience some of the crazy stuff that is alleged in some of these complaints.
Well, in some of the the parents are complaining that their kids are essentially just being left to sit there for long periods of time, which is very difficult for special education students.
Right.
In these field trips that they would go on, the complaints submitted said there were literally no educational value in doing some of these things. For instance, going to Barnes and Noble. Well, you go to Barnes & Noble for a couple hours, and the kids don't have any money to buy anything.
Right.
And so they're just kind of wandering around. A trip to IKEA.
That's the one.
Would bore me, let alone teenagers.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, you just kind of walk through the area and, look at furniture, and then you go to lunch where, supposedly, everybody sent in $10, but lunch only cost $5. One of the ones that really kind of bothered me particularly is, the students helped out at a food bank, and as thanks for helping out at the food bank, the manager, gave them snacks, but the teacher collected the snacks and used them as prizes for a game of bingo. And as one of the complaints pointed out, not all the kids win bingo.
Right.
And as that complaint pointed out, you're taking something that the students earned, so that this is a life lesson. Like, you did work, here is your reward for this work. And it becomes instead a prize that is bestowed upon them by, whoever's in charge. It's a weird dynamic, and it was just it was like a petty cruelty, I guess would probably be my best description for it.
exactly what it is. It is like these petty cruelty sort of engagements that he has with these students. It's almost like he either resents them or hates them. He's the worst person to be in charge of a classroom like this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to obviously speak on his behalf. These are allegations, and supposedly the school is working through it. But when I have this many people coming to me telling me the same story, and I have receipts, and I have letters, and I have all these different things. It's like, okay, I mean, there's something going on here that's worth pointing out.
Yeah, I mean, again, I thought when this part that really got me stopped, so to speak, was when I saw the Barnes & Noble thing, but then the IKEA thing was like, I said to my wife this morning as I'm reading it, like 9 o'clock this morning, and I went, I consider that a form of cruelty when my wife makes me go. Right? So I'm like, why would you do that to these poor kids? And what is the education value in going to IKEA? If it's not, are you trying to tell these kids what's the cost of furniture?
I certainly see the value in taking special education students out into the world to teach them how to function and interact.
Sure.
and to exchange money for goods. But when they bring their money for lunch, they're not even allowed to purchase it and receive change, even though that's on some of their education plans. They're not even doing that. So they're getting a lunch, and sometimes it's not much of one.
Right.
But they're not even getting the change back.
Yeah, there's a form of cruelty here. And aside from the cruelty of the students, but even the parents for that matter, because a lot of people that were featured, at least a few people that was featured in your article, were some parents who said that, look, some of this money that we're giving out, we can barely afford as is. We want our children to flourish here, but we are giving money that we seriously can't afford, but we don't want our child not to have the thing, not to be able to go on the event or not to be able to go on the trip. So they sacrifice these dollars to not have that change back, or therefore to find out it's being allegedly stolen is far more egregious because they're being hit twice.
Well, not only that, but like some of these parents, super nice people, they're sending in extra money so that kids who really can't afford the special outing lunches,
right,
or whose parents didn't send money, that they could get lunch too.
Wow.
Or like one parent sent in $100 so these kids could have a pizza party before the Super Bowl. Things like that, like really nice, generous things. And it's just unfortunate that this is kind of overshadowing those things, these acts of generosity.
This is, you've done some really in-depth stories, Mark. I got to tell you, that I'll read your stuff till the cows come home. This was just one of those stories where I went, why is Mark doing this? And as I'm reading, I'm going, oh, I couldn't put it down. It's 12 pages. I printed it out. It's right in front of me. 12 pages long, and the story just gets worse and worse. And I'm going, wow, this is like this. It's far more than egregious. It's unheard of. And at the end of it, you have to be saying to yourself, I can't. Well, you said it yourself at the beginning of this interview. You couldn't believe you were writing this story.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that's like, all right, I do a lot of work about, different forms of,
corruption,
theft on mass scale, when it comes to, some state practices and things like that. But, to me, it's this kind of little thing, like, oh yeah, it's $100 or something like that. But to me, that's kind of bigger and worse at the same time.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this case. Aside from just the money, there's, again, as we point out, the cruelty of it all, maybe, it could be, as you said, it's a possible burnout situation, a sort of devil-may-care attitude. Well, what am I doing all this for? I'm going to get mine at the end, or that kind of attitude. It's really, but I just can't get over the amount of cruelty that is in this story. Alleged nonetheless, but it just paints a very, very dark picture in an already serious issue with special education and education overall in the city of Bridgeport.
Yeah, and Bridgeport's had some, as we mentioned, had some problems in that department. And I understand that some other news organizations are reaching out to parents and staff and things like that. So there might be more coming down the pike as the story picks up steam.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. But thank you for doing this story. Like I said, off the beaten path as far as the stuff that you cover. But this was great stuff right here. I couldn't put it down. So that's why I'm glad I had you on. I was like, Mark said, you think you'd have Mark Fisher on? I'm like, hell yeah, bring him on, because only you can talk this story, talk to this, or give sort of depth to this story that I can't. So I appreciate you, buddy.
Well, thank you, Reese, and thanks for having me on.
My pleasure, sir. Mark Fitch, everybody, from Inside Investigator, Connecticut Inside Investigator. Check him out at insideinvestigator.org. Again, always interesting stuff he writes. He's one of those journalists out there. I mean, I have him on primarily because he does the work that the mainstream media doesn't do. And that's why we consider him a friend. So anyway, we'll be back. More news, more views. We'll get to your phone calls as well at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Sue Aller, filling in for Mark Christopher, is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
I'm Sue Aller from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Still jammed on the Wilbur Cross on the northbound side between exits 90 and 91. You get the right lane closed with a 3-car collision. Then as you travel on 84 westbound, you're hitting those brakes between exits 56 and 45. And then there's an accident at exit 32 in Plainville, and that one takes out the right lane. On the eastbound side, it's also slow through West Hartford between exits 44 and 51. Southbound side of 91 slows down between exits 35A starting in Windsor all the way to 84, and now we have a crash on Route 72 west at New Britain Avenue, and that takes out the right lane. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
We will see our temperatures slowly decline this week, an increase in the cloud cover overnight with a low temperature of 42, a mix of sun and clouds tomorrow up to 65, some rain tomorrow night into the first part of Thursday down to 49 tomorrow night, the high temperature only 58 on Thursday. It'll be cloudy in the afternoon and cloudy Thursday night with a low of 42. A mix of sun and clouds, we add a little bit of a northwest breeze on Friday, the high 59. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment was "Thou shalt not speak ill of another Republican," a political rule established in the 1960s to foster party unity by discouraging public infighting. On May 7th, WTIC News Talk 1080 will host the 11th Commandment Republican gubernatorial debate, with candidates vying for the Republican nomination at the private event room at Stadium 15 in Farmington. The debate will be live on the air, but if you'd like to be in the audience, listen to Brian and Company every morning and Reese on the radio every afternoon for your chance to win a pair of tickets. WTIC News Talk 1080's 11th Commandment Republican gubernatorial debate is sponsored by AARP Connecticut.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 5:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. King Charles addressed a joint meeting of Congress this afternoon.
Whatever disagreements we may have, we stand united in our commitment to uphold democracy, to protect all our people from harm, and to salute the courage of those who daily risk their lives in the service of our country.
Charles says the relationship between America and Britain runs deep.
Today, I am here on this great occasion in the life of our nations to express the highest regard and friendship of the British people to the people of the United States.
Charles and Queen Camilla are in the midst of a 4-day state visit to the U.S. State dinner coming up tonight at the White House. Juveniles in stable condition and a teenager under arrest after an accidental shooting earlier today in a parking lot in Farmington. Police say 19-year-old Jordan Cruz is charged. Detectives say Cruz was in possession of a firearm illegally, which was left unattended in a vehicle. That's when they say the 10-year-old got their hands on the gun and sustained a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the leg. The child was taken to the hospital for treatment for what are believed to be non-life-threatening injuries. Cruz faces over a half-dozen counts, including negligent storage of a firearm, risk of injury to a child, and reckless endangerment. Former FBI Director James Comey indicted once again, this time over a social media photo of seashells arranged on a beach that officials say constituted a threat against President Trump. Cities and towns poised to receive $270 million in additional state funding. That breaks down to an additional $170 million for schools, $100 million in municipal aid. Larger cities facing deficits like Hartford and New Britain will benefit, though some say more should be earmarked for the smaller towns as well. And police say a convicted felon is facing over 36 firearms charges in Branford. Officers say they were notified by the Department of Homeland Security that they'd intercepted a package that had been shipped from China to JFK Airport. They set up a controlled delivery where they found dozens of guns and thousands of rounds of ammo. Now under arrest is 46-year-old Alex Aranzo. Wall Street, the Dow finished down 25 points today. The Nasdaq gave back 223, and the S&P was down 35. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Ned Lamont and the Hartford Clowns have a problem telling the truth.
Here's Ned.
And we're trying to make life a little less expensive for working families in the middle class.
Talk is cheap, Ned, but you know what's not? Our electric bills. Aaron Stewart is the no BS candidate for governor. Aaron knows that 1, Connecticut exports a third of the energy we generate while we pay the highest prices in New England. That's BS. 2, the Hartford clowns put a hidden tax on your bill, the public benefits charge. Complete BS. And 3, Ned wants electric leaf blowers instead of gas, so he's importing hydropower from Canada. Really? Canada? Total BS.
And we're trying to make life a little less expensive.
I'm Aaron Stewart. I'm running for governor because it's time for something different, like cutting the BS. Only Hartford would ship out the energy we make and ship in expensive Canadian energy. Join me at aaron4ct.com. I approve this message.
Paid for by Aaron for Connecticut, Valerie Marino, Treasurer.
Looking for a great real estate agent? Someone who can help you sell your home fast and for top dollar? Go to ready.com, REDY.com. Because on Ready, agents will pay you just for the opportunity to sell your home. Yeah, on Ready, agents will pay you for your listing. Thousands of dollars up front just for a chance to sell your home. And it's easy. Just go to ready.com, enter your address, and when you want to sell. In just 48 hours, the best local agents are competing on Ready to be your agent with cash offers up front just to win your business. Hey, your listing is valuable. Don't give it away. Make those agents earn it. Get paid to pick your real estate agent. Go to ready.com or call 888-525-REDY. 888-525-READY.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
All right, we got a lot of stuff on slate for tomorrow, even though we will be mostly online. I think roughly about 3 o'clock, or we're going to do the whole show. I know we got a Red Sox game tomorrow, right? Is that the case? Yep, we do. 3 o'clock, yes. So, but we do have some guests, so make sure you check us out. If you want to watch the video live, you can go to resetarradio.com. No, guests. Oh, that would have been a Freudian slip if I had said that. Especially considering our conversation a little while ago. This, again, we got guests tomorrow. If you want to check it out online, go to resetarradio.com so you can watch it live. Of course, all the links are there for X and for Facebook as well as YouTube. So you can watch the show online. Our guests will be 2 gentlemen, and I know I mentioned them yesterday, so I'll mention them again today. Carl Chisholm, who is the Department of Transportation's union rep. He'll be here at 4 o'clock, followed by David Ferraro, who is also with the DOT at 4:30. And we're going to have a conversation with both of those gentlemen about highway safety. Last week was Highway Workers Awareness Week. We're going to tell you about a whole bunch of things that you can do to not just keep these men on the roads and on the highways safe, but also keep yourself safe. Believe it or not, these fatalities don't just affect them. They are not just the victims of a lot of the stuff that's going on in these construction or highway construction sites. People lose their lives a lot as well. We're talking about you and everybody else. And so they are here to talk about some of those things that you can do. There's also a report out, and we'll also give those details tomorrow. There are going to be speed cameras in a lot of these locations in and around Connecticut. And interestingly enough, these cameras are going to be at construction sites to monitor the speeding that's happening at these locations. And the fines will, I believe, start at about $50 and then increase thereafter. And you'll get them mailed to your home, or at least the registration of the car that you're driving, if it indeed isn't yours. So be it company owned or your wife's, something like that. So we'll give you those details as well during that interview. So check us out online, WTIC.com, download the Odyssey app, or you can check out the show, watch it on resetarradio.com. All right, so stand by for that. And then we'll wrap up the show with your phone calls when we return. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Sue Aller filling in for Mark Christopher. She's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
I'm Sue Aller from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Good news on the Wilbur Cross. On the northbound side at exit 91, we had a collision that has just been cleared away. Still real slow, though, as you make your way through East Hartford on 84 westbound. Really slow between exits 56 and 45. And then a little bit further west in Plainville at exit 32, the right lane is down with an accident. On the eastbound side of 84, you're hitting those brakes between exits 44 and 51, and very slow on 91 southbound, starting in Windsor at exit 35A to 84. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by NJM Insurance Group.
If you dread dealing with your insurance more than getting stuck in an elevator with an overshare,
bean burrito for lunch.
you have Insuranoia. You should have NJM. They go to great lengths to do what's best for their policyholders. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
WTIC weather.
A canopy of clouds has moved across the region, and we will continue to see that overnight with the low temperature down to 42. A mix of sun and clouds tomorrow up to 65 degrees. And then we have some rain in here tomorrow night into the first part of Thursday. The low temperature down to 49 tomorrow night. Cloudy and cooler after the rain ends on Thursday. Only 58 for the high. Mostly cloudy Thursday night down to 42. A mix of sun and clouds, breezy up to 59 on Friday. An evening shower on Saturday. Otherwise, we are dry to start the weekend with a high of 57. And a mix of sun and clouds on Sunday up to 58. Right now, it's 66 in Hopewell, 64 in Cheshire, and 66 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune into the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new Energy Refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New Energy Refreshers, only at Starbucks.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
If you own a business, you've heard it all. From fast funding to easy approvals, everyone says the same thing. LendSeek is different. We show you what you actually qualify for. LendSeek's AI-enabled platform matches you with funding options with no guesswork. Up to $5 million in as fast as 24 hours. If you've been in business over a year, doing at least $50,000 per month, apply for free with zero out-of-pocket costs and access to over 100 lenders. Start ready, stay ready. Lendseek.com. LENDSEEK.com.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
That's weird. This computer oh, there it is. That was weird. This computer literally shut down out of nowhere. Oh, yeah, it's doing it again. Must be. Oh, that's bizarre. Anyway, we're back. Reese on the radio, WTIC News Talk 1080. Hey, you want to win a chance to go to the 11th Commandment Republican gubernatorial debate with candidates vying for the Republican nomination? Not dying, vying for the Republican nomination. It's on May 7th at 7 p.m. at the private event room at Stadium 15 in Farmington. The debate will be live on the air, but you can be there in the audience, you and a guest, if you call right now at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842, and you can win a shot to be there. The WTIC 11th Commandment Republican gubernatorial debate is sponsored by AARP Connecticut. Now let's get to the phones real quick. Let's go to George real quick. Hello, George. All the way in St. Louis. Where you been?
Hi, Reese. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm great, sir.
I want to address this 86-47.
Of course.
Comey response and the Jimmy Kimmel widow joke
yes.
that was made against Melania.
Which one do you want to do first?
All of these are do you remember conditional responses in psychology that come under Pavlov's dog experiment? Do you remember that?
That doesn't ring a bell.
Pavlov's dog. Yeah. This is what the left wing is doing. They're training you to hate Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Little things that are going on in the media are training you to hate Trump. The Pavlov dog experiment was where the dog heard a bell and it would immediately get hungry.
Mm-hmm.
And in other words, these are responses. These are responses that the media, the left-wing media, is expecting of you.
Yes.
They're training you. These are all conditional responses. The media has been training you for probably the last 10 years. It's the same thing that's invoked when they run commercials. Okay.
Yeah.
It gets your appetite up, and these are all conditional responses. And I'm saying you're being brainwashed.
Can I play the Nancy Pelosi? Media. Can I play the Nancy Pelosi bit that sort of explains it? This is her talking about exactly as you describe it. Again, taking no responsibility. Oh, why is it?
Intent saying something that's going to lead to something dangerous, but we cannot take responsibility for the minds that are out there and how they hear it.
So she says, there's going to be some people. It's like, well, we can't control what these people do. We're not responsible for what they do. They know exactly. That's why she came up with the idea of the wrap-up smear. She puts the information out there, you report it, and then we say it was reported in the news.
So the point I'm making is be aware of what they're doing to you, and it's brainwashing. And always be aware that this is the Democrat Party.
Indeed,
it's brainwashing.
Now get to the Jimmy Kimmel thing, so I want to get to another call, but get to the Jimmy Kimmel thing. Hello?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm saying it's the same thing.
Oh, that's the same. Oh, you were saying both of them, and it's the same thing. Okay. What about? Oh, did you want to talk about the Comey thing? Are you saying the Comey thing was the same deal?
It's the same brainwashing.
Okay.
86-47 is all tied together. In other words, now that I've given you instructions, go kill Trump.
Indeed.
Now that I've given you instructions, go kill. The response is go kill Trump now.
Yeah. Edit, you're absolutely right. Thank you, George. Good to have you back. Let's go to Steve in Meriden. How are you, sir?
Formerly Silver City, now the $3 million bridge to nowhere. This is for you and Roseanne. You know what the name?
I can't remember that one. What's that one?
Serious.
Why? That sounds familiar to me. It sounds great. Who is that?
That's Mickey and Sylvia.
Mickey and Sylvia. You know what? I have got to literally expand my repertoire when it comes to them. That's actually a great song. Thank you
I know,
for
that's,
that.
That's better than Love is Strange. That's why I said to you the last time I'm going to play this the next time I catch you.
You got it.
And while I was looking for it, I went through all my records. I couldn't find David Seville and the Witch Doctor.
Oh, yeah, because I was mentioning that in music news. Now I've got to find that song.
I found Clarence Frogman Henry,
Don't get me started, because if I play that, I am going to be so censored everywhere, and they will come after.
Got no home.
I ain't got no home. I love that song. Thank you.
I've been going through my records, like I said, and I was looking for the Witch Doctor song.
Steve, we got to get together to go through your record collection, man.
I'll tell you, I got a million of them.
Thank you, buddy.
Hey, catch you later.
You got it. You
Good
got
show,
it.
too.
Thank you, sir. Tony is in East Hartford. Hello, Tony.
Hi, Reese. How are you?
I'm good, sir. What's up?
Hey, I just want to let you know, before your show came on, I heard on TIC that Ilhan Omar, in a speech yesterday, called World War II World War 11.
Yes. That was the best. I'm not going to lie. It was the best self-own known to man to see her say World War 11. I'm going, what? And my favorite part was that somebody said that Ilhan Omar graduated from the Leering Center. It's one of those things. And again, you know what? When people who support her get mad for laughing at her, you know that everybody did a face plant. They do that. Their hands went straight to their forehead and just went, oh my goodness. This is who they depend. We're not supposed to call this woman a moron, but guess what? You know what? We won't. We won't let her. We won't call her a moron. We'll just play the videotape. That's what. Thank you for making my day and reminding me of that little ditty, because that was beautiful.
You got it, Reese.
Thank you, man. You got it. Let's go to blah, 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 blah. I'm going to take Jeff in Marlboro right there. Hey, Jeff, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, buddy? Long time.
Hey, long time. What's up, big guy?
Yeah, so you ever seen that movie Men at Work? I know you're a movie guy.
Hell yeah, Men at Work, Emilio Estevez, Keith David, Charlie Sheen, and I can't remember who the other person is in that movie, but I love that movie, directed by Emilio Estevez.
Is the black dude Keith David?
That's right, Keith David, because the other actor who's the white guy's name is David Keith.
Okay, so that dude from Men at Work, remember you were talking tonight about something about Mary?
Yes, he's in that movie.
Yeah, I just want to say, how'd you get the beans above the Franks, man?
Classic line. Also, another classic line in Men at Work is when he breaks the fourth wall and he goes, "Rent-a-cops. I hate rent-a-cops too." I know that movie. I've seen that movie 1,000 times. That's still one of my favorite Charlie Sheen movies.
Yeah, that was me and my brothers growing up. You know, I love that line when they're doing trivia, and he says, "What is a phrenologist?"
Phrenologist, and it turns out that phrenology is a made-up science.
Yeah, well, it was. Yeah, way back in the day. But I love what he says. Yeah, he studies and examines the
lumps on your brain.
Yeah, but the first funny line he says I can't repeat on the air.
Oh, yeah. That's right, because that's what he originally thinks it is. And you know what? That movie introduced us to the golf clap.
Yeah, that's right.
I know that movie forwards and backwards. You can't stump me on that movie. I know that movie backwards. I'm telling you, that was one of my favorite movies back in the day.
Yeah, we can't always talk politics. I love the lighthearted stuff.
Me
so
too.
When you talk about movies I like, I love to phone in and just talk about it.
Thank you, man.
I must have seen Men at Work 1,000 times.
Yeah, it's such a good movie. If you can catch it stream, please watch it. It is hilarious. Thank you, buddy.
Have a good one.
You got it. Evan is in Barkhamsted. I can never say that darn town's name. What's going on, Evan?
It's the only town in the country with that name, weirdly enough. So I am ready and willing to accept the outrage from you and the callers today about violent political rhetoric.
Okay.
The second you or any of them call out Trump for doing literally the same thing.
Okay. If Trump has ever called for the death of anyone, I will absolutely condemn it. Give me the scenario where he called for the death of an individual.
Reposting literally people calling for the death of his political opponents.
No, there's a post where he reposted the death of his political opponent?
It was a repost that he reposted something on Truth Social. This was maybe 2 or 3 months ago.
Okay.
Calling for the death of his political opponent.
Who's the political opponent? Or was
people in Congress?
Oh, it was a generalization that Trump called for the death of?
Yes.
Okay, you're going to have to be more specific. I condemn it. I condemn it without knowing it, but you're going to Evan, come on. You know what the deal is on this show. You got to come with the evidence. You can't just say he did it. I condemn it if he did.
Just Google what would be good evidence for you?
Happy to provide it. Just the actual post. Just with the post and the exact quote. That's all.
Yeah, do you want me to email it to you?
Of course. Of course, you can send it. In fact, just send me a link to it. Go to reeseontheradio.com and send me the link. I'll be happy to look it up. And I will come here in evidence and say, damn, if Trump said this, okay, you know what? I condemn it. But I will say this, on par with what the argument is here, Evan, and this is important. You know, I keep arguing about the whole two sides thing, right? And I'm saying I don't want to have a conversation about the two sides. What I'm saying to you is that just condemn it because you know it's wrong. If you're making an argument, if you're making an argument about its two sides, you're avoiding the most important part about this conversation. It's condemning the violence. I don't need you, I don't need a two sides to this. I need you to condemn the violence, full stop. Forget all that. Will you acknowledge this and that? I'll go through all of that. But if you want to start having compromises, I've got 10 of them for you. And if it's so important, and I'll say this to you, Evan, if it's so important to you that you need me to condemn Donald Trump, what are you going to give me in advance? What are you going to give me as any reciprocity? Will you acknowledge that?
Literally anybody on the left who has done similar things.
No, I want something else.
I will condemn them right this second.
No, I want something else. Go
for it. What do you need?
Okay, I want you to say that there are only two genders.
But that's not a fact.
Oh, see, it's a compromise, sir. It doesn't matter whether or not it's a fact.
Yeah, there's not even two sexes. There's multiple sexes, like intersex.
It's a compromise. Can you make the compromise?
No, because one's a fact and the other
isn't.
So
that you see my point, right? You're saying, hold on. No, listen to me, Evan. I'm telling you exactly what we're having here. You said, I need you to condemn Donald Trump and the stuff that he says about Congress, right? You didn't give me any evidence of it. You said he did it. And guess what I did? I willingly said, okay, if he said it, I condemn it. Now I go, tell me there are two sexes. And you go, well, I can't. It's a compromise.
No, two genders.
Two genders. Fine. Two genders. I said, give me a compromise that there are two genders. Guess what? I'm not asking you to go out there and say emphatically or even believe it. I said, give it to me. Say, there are two genders. And you can't do it. Because why? Because, again, words are deeds, right? They're not just...
You're equating apples and oranges.
No, sir. No, I'm not.
Something that isn't factually true, and you just want me to... So should I say... Biden is Hitler the second
No. I'm giving you a few compromises. How about this one? How about late-term abortion is not health care? Can you give me that?
Late-term abortion is not health care. Well, in some circumstances, it is. If the mother's going to die.
It's a compromise. You're not going to stop an abortion, Evan. I'm not asking you to go to the hospital and yank out a baby and revive it. I'm asking you to affirm... I'm asking you.
Late-term abortion sometimes is health care. No, that's a fact also.
Do you understand that if a body dies, if an individual dies, that is not health or care, right? So
that's my point.
My compromise to you is
when the mother's going to die.
Evan, I'm about to end the show, but this is a compromise. I will say Trump is wrong for saying that, and then I want you to say late-term abortion is not health care, and you can't even do it.
Yeah, because it's not true.
There you go. That's my point. Trump didn't. I could have had that argument with you by just saying that Trump didn't do it. I could have had that argument with you. I didn't. I gave you what you wanted, and you could not reciprocate. That's my point.
Yeah, You didn't have to give me what I wanted. You could have.
I did, but wait. I was having a compromise with you. And I extended.
On
there you go.
Things.
That's my point. Thank you, Evan.
On factual things, you want me to just make up stuff and say it's
Evan, I gotta go. I love you, buddy. I love you. You know I do. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. So, Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you back here mañana. Mark Christopher's out, so we got Sue Aller. She's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Good night, everybody.
I'm Sue Aller from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Jam-packed on the westbound side of 84, right after 91. It's an accident. It takes out the right lane, and it is just stopped.